Hello, everyone, and welcome once again to Lack of Focus, episode 17, Phoenix Down. I am your host, Ed Horne, and alongside me tonight, my partner in crime and gaming, one Mr. Chad Brown. Chad, how's it going, my friend?
Hey, everybody.
Well, one co-host comes in, we lose another. Unfortunately, Sean got stuck at work today and will not be able to join us tonight, but we are joined by our producer extraordinaire, who's in a warmer climate than we are here in Western Pennsylvania right now, one Mr. Kris Sheriff. Kris, how's it going, my friend?
Good, thanks, Ed.
Still not going to understand that, how it's colder here in Western PA than it is in Canada with a polar vortex, but whatever. Anyway, so this is the show we've been waiting to do for quite some time. It is the Point Show. We finally know what FFG's plans are for moving into the first point changes, what's changed, why they changed it, and some interesting things that came out of that. We, of course, had the Phoenix system open, which is kind of part of the title. We're going to kind of congratulate some winners there, and we do have some Polish Jedi to kind of discuss. Someone went through and got a hold of the article from the Polish site and translated some stuff. So we know what some of the things coming out for the Republic are going to be like. So all of that is going to be coming up. And of course, the main topic tonight is going to be points. I mean, that's really kind of what we're all here to talk about tonight. So all of that is going to be coming up right after this. All right, we're back. And in the flight deck tonight, we're going to cover over any events we've been in, squads we've been flying or tried to fly before points change happens, and we'll get into all of that. So, Chad, I know you were not here with us last week, and you had a lot to talk about because you played in a tournament a couple of weeks ago.
I did, and I also didn't get to talk about that game of Stomp the Noob I played. I pretty much crushed him really, really hard, and he quit before the game was really even half over.
Yeah, I completely misplayed that. And once, did you take Vader off the board, or was it you took Vader and?
Okay, so you had Vader, 3 ties, and pure Sabak. I
Correct.
took Sabak and I think 2 of the ties off the board like super fast, and I put Vader in a kill box.
Yeah, that's what it was. That's exactly what it was.
And you were like, yeah, no.
Well, what killed me with that particular game is I played relatively well against your son. I played Logan the game before, and I made one minor mistake, which ended up costing me the game, and I can accept that whenever I make that one. But for you, every time I play you, no matter what I do, I look at you and I have no idea where Chad's going to go. I don't know where I'm supposed to go. I get puzzled. I actually thought that Pure Sabak was going to be outside of range 3 and safe from the position he was in. He was not. Range 3, threw a rock. Chad still kills it. Frustrating. But once that happened, I knew the game was over because you had your Vader. You had everything else left on the board. The game was just over. But let's get into more interesting things because you played in the tournament that I was not able to attend.
Yeah, I will have to say, though, the veins about popping out of your neck and your head when it's like, outmaneuver. And you're like, crap. And I'm like, outmaneuver. And you're like, wait, that guy has it too? And I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
You were like just about to explode. But anyhow, I played in a tournament. We had a, what are those? The hyperspace trials? They're called that now?
Yeah, it's the version of the store championship.
Yeah. So got to play in that.
In the midst of a promise of like 50 feet of snow.
That never happened. So, yeah, that was really, really interesting because as we were on our way there, I looked at Logan and I said, isn't it like every time we have a store championship, there's bad weather for Latrobe? And he's like, he's thinking pretty much, yeah, that's what he can remember. And then it was like, oh, there's bad snow coming. It never came.
They gave us some of like the European models was supposed to show like 10 to 12 inches. I think we got a dusting.
Yeah.
Like it was nothing.
But I got to play against Evan, and he was running a double fire spray list, which is not going to be playable anymore.
Yay!
I played against DJ. He had 3 protectorates.
Oh, interesting.
He chose the wrong target of my ships to go after, and I basically gobbled them all up.
Who did he go after? Did he go after Vader first?
Trying to think if it was Vader or Vermeil.
Okay.
It was one of the two he went after.
Because if it's not Pure Sabak, if it's not Pure Sabak, it's the wrong answer.
Yeah. And I had played Christian, who ended up winning the event. He went undefeated that day. and he was playing Resistance. He had 2 A-Wings and 2 of the X-Wings. When I say he was flying Nub and Ello.
Oh, interesting.
And I can't remember which 2 A-Wings he had. But I was basically flying the list that I've talked about the last couple times I've been on this show. Vader, Vermeil, and Sabak. Vermeil, Sabak, both without maneuver. Vader, I switched up a little bit just for that. Let me see here real quick. I did change up a few of the things. Like I switched out his force ability to be the one where it's you can shoot at initiative 7, which only ever would have been beneficial one time in the whole day, and I forgot it at that point. I looked at it. I was like, I should have done that. Oh well, whatever, you know. Uh-oh. That's not good. I was looking at my app here, and it's not giving me my save squads.
It's because the points all changed.
Yeah, so I got to remake all the lists.
No, you don't. Give it a...
If you delete it and then re-download it, because all of your squads are actually saved server side.
On their server, yeah.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, I had to do that. That was the most kerfuffle I've had with the FFG app since ever. Was I moved it off my phone and re-downloaded it.
I didn't even have to delete it. If you just leave it open long enough, it re-downloads everything from the server.
So
it's just because we instantly want to see them. Like, oh crap, I'll just delete it. Either one works.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm just gonna jump in on Chad. So I did make a video on the day of the points changes where I was doing it live. I hadn't looked at them, so I opened up a document and I had the app, the website app version of the app open, and I was it's not changed. So I was going through halfway through, and then it changed halfway through me doing them. I was like, FFG are apparently too efficient. I was like, oh crap, I'm gonna have to do this all from memory now.
Yeah.
But you took second place then in the tournament?
I took second place, yes.
Congratulations.
So that was really, really good. Logan ended up in third.
Of how many people?
Wow.
Oh, don't ruin it.
Jerk.
Don't ruin it.
I've already gone through 5 people.
Right, but you could have played more.
No, those were the 3 games I played. I didn't get to play Logan, so...
So, yeah, because of the snow, only 5 folks showed up.
Yeah.
Yeah, we had thoughts and rumors
I still took second.
You still took second. So, I'm not trying to disparage that in any way, shape, or form. It's just, I just wanted to point out that because of the snow, like the Pittsburgh guys didn't come up.
Point it out.
Yeah, just throwing it out there.
No, the Pittsburgh guys, a lot of them, they use one of those lame excuses like you always use. They didn't have enough wife points or something built up, and because they'd all gone to the Outrider Cup.
Ah, that makes sense.
Or yeah. So like they were like, oh, they're all out of wife points, and you know.
Yep, no, makes sense.
But there is another. I guess they give you enough in that kit to do a few tournaments. So we're doing another one in February.
Yeah, Evan had sent me a message saying he was going to try to do one in February. I'm going to try to make it that one. I need to get some time in with my new first order list since I never actually got to fly the other one I wanted to do.
Right.
Oh wow.
Hey, let me know when you want to try that out. I'll promptly stomp it into the ground.
Well, I'm a little concerned with your current predicament with your injury, but I will like to get some games in.
You can play sat down, it'll be okay.
Yeah, no, we can sit. I'm good.
Well, I mean, if I'm not walking around, it's not that big a deal. If I'm standing in one place, that's fine.
Ah, gotcha.
It's the walking is what really gets to it. So if I'm just doing a little bit of walking here and there, like I can walk to the car, walk from the car to your place. If I get like Logan to drive me or somebody drive me over there, that wouldn't be too bad because it's my right foot, which obviously I'd be using the drive.
Right,
if I did that. But I mean, like I could, come over and kick your butt.
It's an automatic, isn't it, Chad? So you just use your cruise control and then left foot braking.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Because cruise control in ice and snow conditions is a good thing.
So I have to be on. When I first moved to North America, Canada, when we moved to having automatics as the standard, it took me a couple of because my left foot doesn't do anything anymore. So I'm instinctively trying to do stuff, so it just started braking. And obviously you're used to pushing down the clutch, which has got a lot, and yeah. So I only killed myself like trying to come out of the parking lot of buying the car, because I bought the Jeep on like finance the day I landed in Canada. Like we went from the airport. My mum was like, "You're not driving my car." Drove straight to from the airport to the dealership and started the process of buying a Jeep.
That was one of the more interesting little side things that we noted whenever we were in Europe, when we were in Scotland and Ireland, was that like when we said that we wanted an automatic, because my wife, it was so weird because we went over, when my wife pre-booked the trip, her name and license is on the thing. So they run her license for the check. So she was cleared to rent vehicles. I volunteered to drive, but I didn't know about it until about a week before, so they didn't have time to clear my license, so I couldn't drive. I can drive a stick, she can't. So we had a lot of trouble actually finding automatic vehicles in Europe. I was surprised at how that works out. Everybody drives a stick there.
Yeah, because we all actually drive.
That's right. I agree. Kris, how about yourself? What have you been flying lately? Anything? Oh wait, Chad, I apologize. Are you done? Did you get any more games in?
Those were all the games I did get in, although I did hear from the evil genius that apparently my list has gone down in points, so I've got a little bit more. I got a little bit more wiggle room.
That is terrifying, actually.
Fear me.
Yeah, we'll go over it when we get to the points, guys. But there's definitely some things I know for a fact have gone down in your list, so you've got some more points to play with.
Oh yeah.
So, Kris, did you get anything in?
So I played the last game of the league that we're running, because we do it. It's only like a 2-month league or something like that. So I got an extra game in of that, and I don't know. I was pretty salty at the end. I felt like a bit of a dick.
What were you running?
So I was running Vader with fire control system, afterburners, and hate. Pure Sabbath,
the hate Vader,
Duchess, and Wampa. It comes in at 200 points exactly. I was flying against Resistance Squad. It was Niem Num, Eloasti, Lilo, I don't know, the 2 Initiative 5 A-Wings, so it's all Initiative 5. And he had 4-point bid, I think, something like that. So moving after everything apart from Vader, we traded a little bit, and then I decided that I'd kill Elo. I'd got Niem down to 1 hit. I'd kill one of his A-Wings and had the other A-Wing down to 2 hits. So I decided to try and finish off the A-Wing. I had three hull and a shield left on Vader, something like that. So it's like, I go in, kill the A-Wing, it's range 2 shot, but I've already got him locked, so it'll be fine. I've got my 2 force charges, I'll just take my focus action, it'll be fine. I failed to kill the A-Wing, and then took 4 damage from his shot, so range 3 shot. And it was a range 3 shot unmodded and a range 2 shot from the A-Wing with a focus, I think. And that killed Vader. So I rolled 7 blanks. So
sounds like your dice roll like mine.
So I was like, oh, well, that's fine. I've still got Duchess undamaged. And I think at this point Wampa was still on the table as well, with like 1 hit point. So I was still winning. I don't know, it was weird anyway. And I spent 3 turns shooting at the 1 hit point Niem Num and couldn't do the 1 damage, and then time ran out. And he beat me on points by 4 points. And then this was on the Friday. On the Monday, his list got more expensive, and my list got cheaper. So I'm like, no, curses.
Damn it.
But no, I think I was a bit whiny in that one, because I couldn't. I was like, this shouldn't. It was neat. I don't know. I worked out the odds of it all the series of dice rolls that needed to happen for him to win that game to happen. And I'm like, no, I think I took the right choices because I don't know. Maybe my choice was if I don't play the game and run for the last 5 or 6 turns, I'd probably win anyway. But
that's no fun.
Yeah, well, but that's it. Like, and that's what I mean. The fact that I lost like a 2% chance because I chose to play the game, why should I be annoyed at that? I could have chose to not play. I don't know. So yeah, I think I spoke about it last time. It was starting to creep in a little bit of being not even like competitive, but just like I don't know. I still feel like people enjoy playing against me, but in myself, you know how I feel in myself.
It's you, of course. Do you know who he is? Do you know who he is?
I don't know. I need to just watch myself and make sure that, like, ultimately it doesn't fucking matter. It's pushing spaceships along the table, and the fact that I shouldn't take away his win because it was, you know, outside the bell curve or whatever. He still won.
Yep.
So
I had that same problem with like my games back to back with Chad and Logan, where like my dice, and I always hate attributing games to dice. I put myself in bad positions to have to roll those dice in the first place. But when you do have to roll them, and you get nothing but blanks and nothing but blanks and nothing but blanks, it gets super frustrating.
And that's it. I've put myself in a position where I was taking. I had the first shot on a damaged A-wing that I think I had like a 25% chance of killing it. So not a great chance, but still a chance. And then I'd put it so that the shot coming at me from Niem was going to be at range 3. The shot from the A-wing was going to be at range 2, but it's an A-wing. So he's rolling 5 attack dice. I've got 4 hits left. I'm rolling my evades, and I've got focuses and force points. He shouldn't kill. Vader shouldn't die there. He might give up half points
in any way, shape, or form. I'm good.
Yeah. And then it was even then it was like the game's still winnable. All I need, like, Duchess is undamaged. I've got half points from his A-wing, and I've got half points from the end. If I kill one of them, the game's won. And I couldn't get the last hit on the M, so it doesn't matter.
In situations like that, I find myself, I'm not mad at my opponent.
Yeah.
I'm mad at me. And I get more mad at me than I do at the game. Do you know what I mean?
That's it. But it's just... And I always feel bad that I would be affecting their enjoyment of the game, because it's not their fault. Dice aren't sentient beings that actually hate me, as fun as
I disagree with that statement completely.
Name is. But, you know,
I think my dice genuinely hate me.
Anyway, that was that one. So I did want to talk about me being a salty prick, and that it's not okay. You know, if you sometimes you will lose to dice, and that's fine. But even so, there will be points in the game that, you know, there's always decision points you could have done better. You never fly a perfect game, so you should. I don't know. Then
I think the point that I think that you got, that you genuinely need to consider the fact that it's also another person that you're playing against, and their enjoyment is equally as important as your enjoyment. And winning doesn't equal enjoyment.
Yeah,
like, you are pushing plastic spaceships across the board. Preferably the person on the other side of yours is a friend, or at least a good acquaintance, or at least someone who also is trying to enjoy their game.
Yeah.
Try to keep that in mind when you want to pick your dice up and throw them across the room like I did.
I've got a good analogy for that. I know that you two will get, of like, you're not playing Blood Bowl against a computer on hard, where it just cheats and changes the dice to. It's like, oh, I've got 3 block dice. I choose. Oh, triple skulls. I've got to reroll. Oh, look, triple skulls again.
Skulls.
Oh, what's that? I've got to pick up the ball. Oh, look at that. I didn't do it on a 1. Oh, I'll reroll. Oh, another 1. What's that? I've rolled what is effectively 12 ones in a row now. Oh, this isn't fucking bullshit. Thanks, computer.
It's so true. It's so true too. Yeah. I don't think the old original Blood Bowl was that bad, but the Blood Bowl 2, which I have for the PlayStation, is that bad. You're like, you've got to be kidding me.
Yeah.
There's just no way.
Or playing fucking XCOM where you've got the 98% shot in the back of some fucking little sectoid, and it's like, oh, look at that, you missed. Oh, all your people are dead now. Oh, awesome. I love this. I'm definitely not going to use that save point I just created. But yeah, like, you're not playing against a computer, like you say. It's another person, so just internalize the hate. I don't know.
Yep.
I did play in a tournament.
At least try to twist it into some type of humor. Like, try to laugh at yourself. Like, oh, look at that. I've rolled 4 blanks 3 times in a row. Aren't these great dice?
So generally, I'm pretty good, especially like when my opponent's complaining. It's like, oh, it's still early in the game. It's time for it to turn around. Oh, it's like, oh, the dice you rolled here were fine. Like, oh look, I missed my attack as well, so we're both rolling equal. Like, just. But, yeah, I think that's what I've been watching it more because a couple of people I'm playing do like to complain about the dice, and so I'm paying more attention to it. So when there is that run that is just fucking bullshit, yeah, whatever. So anyway, I played in. We played after every league. We have a tournament that's open to everyone anyway. And I ran the same squad, apart from I had enough points to put a shield upgrade onto Pure Sabak, and I dropped hate on Vader because I didn't really need it. I didn't feel like if Vader's getting shot to recharge from hate, I'm probably doing it wrong.
Something's gone wrong anyway.
Yeah, so it gave me a shield on Pure Sabak and a 5-point bid.
So you ran Vader without a force power then?
Yeah.
Interesting.
What am I going to take? It's nothing beats the 5-point bid when I've got Duchess at initiative 5 and Vader at initiative 6.
Was this post points change?
Yeah, that was.
Okay,
so we played on the Friday before was my initial game, then we played on the Tuesday after, so it was literally one day. That's why I ran the same list, because it involved the least amount of change. It's like, I'll slam a shield on Pure Sabak because that's better, and go from there. So running the same squad, it was 3 rounds. I played Fenrir. This is a fucking awesome list, by the way. Fenrir, Old Terok, Captain Seavor, and the Initiative 2 Mining Guild tie. Both of Mining Guild ties have got Duke, and Mark runs Elusive on both of the Fangs for the extra, like the reroll on the evade dice. I'm not convinced that you need that if you play them aggressively, but it was fine anyway. No, that was my round 2 game. But anyway, okay. The round 1. Did I play round 1? Oh, I don't know. I'm forgetting now.
Getting old, man.
This is embarrassing.
The mind's the first thing to go.
Yeah, so we'll talk about that game anyway. Round 1. Sorry, it was like his 3rd game of X-Wing ever. I pulled an Ed and got a fucking bye in round 1. He was running.
You please wear this seal hat while I hold this bat.
In fairness, it was a really good fun game and we both enjoyed it, but Vader just tore him up. He was running Shiranu naked, Redline with just protons, and Jonas with barrage and cluster missiles. Something like that. I don't remember.
It's like, these are the ships I have, I'm going to play all of them.
Yeah. But it was just a list that I'd built with one of his friends who'd been playing a lot more X-Wing. And it's fine. There's a lot of hit points in there, but I don't know that it... I don't know. I don't want to make shit on Shiranu because I think it's at 80 points now, which is pretty damn good. And it reinforced perfectly with him. You know, every time it was decided I was going to have covered. But I was just like, I picked on whatever he gave me to shoot at that was denying him shots. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So that was that game. Not, yeah. Pick on new players, you'll feel good about your life. Then
I'm convinced at this point I'd still lose to new players.
Probably.
Yeah, yeah, you suck pretty hard now.
I don't know what happened. I don't. I'm like, I never claimed to be like a super top end.
It went to 2.0, so you don't have auto thrusters focus evade anymore.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe I was more a product of the game than anything else. I'm willing to buy that. I really am. I'm also willing to buy the fact that I don't play it as often as I should, and I fly like crap.
Yeah.
That's definitely part of that answer.
Well, my point is valid.
Your point is valid. I'm not disagreeing.
Anyway, so round 2 was against Mark, running Fen, Old Terrock, Seavor, who's a fucking beast with Duke, and a mining guild Ty who also had Duke. And he always sets up like covering the whole table, like with 2 ties in the middle, 1 fang on each flank. So I got to weigh 1 flank to go against Fen. He won the dice roll as well because we both had a 5-point bid, so he made me move first. And I had the choice of setting up the perfect kill box of Fenro or putting Duchess over a rock with her aileron move and then finishing on a rock in front of both TIE fighters with my actual move. Because like the move I'd dialed in, if I aileron right, gives me the perfect kill box on Fen, which is what I planned to do. And then for some reason I was like, oh, I'll go over here and deal with these TIE fighters instead. Aileroned over a rock and then landed on another rock, took 2 damage from the rocks, and then was sat in front of 2 TIE fighters with Duke. So I'm like, okay. So round 1, right, so turn 2, first round of engagement, Duchess was dead. Fen came into a kill box that was now not complete and only took 1 point of damage. So I'm like, fuck. If I'd have had Duchess where she should have been with a focus token, it would have been another 3 dice range 2 shot, so maybe half points on Fen. And I'm like, so that was like the exact opposite of the game with on the Friday, where I'm like, oh, stupid dice. This was like, yes, I'm losing this game because I am just shit. But so in that one, I was ready to concede at any point he got half points on Vader. Unfortunately, time ran out before he got to half points on Vader. I killed Old Terrock in the next round because my plan had been to hopefully kill or get half points off Fen, force him out of the fight for a couple of turns, pivot onto Old Terrock as he comes in, take him out, and then start like going after the ties as and when they're presented. But because they both got Duke, the ties are always evading. He bumped me up really well, and because I felt like I was behind, I was playing like really aggressive with Vader. I didn't want to break him out of the fight to bring him back in because I felt like I needed him shooting every turn. But then I was bumping, and I'm happy to bump because I'm getting range 1 shots, and I've always got my force tokens. But I was never establishing a target lock, which is what really turns him on to being that beat stick. Yeah. So that was pretty bad. I still got points from it, so it wasn't too bad. Right? As in, I got a decent MOV. So I got half points off Fen. I got, I think I did. I got all of Old Terrock, and I put some damage on the ties. I don't know if I got points from them or not, though. And then that game was over for a loss. And then the last game was against Chewbacca, Resistance Chewbacca, and 2 heroic BB-8 heavy laser cannon T-70s. Ooh. So if you focus the T-70s, Chewbacca gets extra actions and shots because of his resistance ability. So that was interesting. I kind of made it look like I was focusing 1 T-70 and waiting for Chewie to come in so I could turn on Chewie, take him out, and then just pick off whichever T-70s were around. Because I out-PS'd him with Duchess and Vader. So Yeah, it was a really good game. It could have gone badly a couple of times because, again, I was playing pretty ballsy with Vader, where I'd like, because HLC does gives you a range bonus now, so I was like boosting into a position where a T-70 would have a HLC shot at me at range 3, but it would be in a modded one. So I don't care if he shoots me with no mods. I've got range 3 bonus, and he can't crit me, so it's fine. But because I was just hungry, I wanted to kill everything in that game. And then we only started playing at 7 o'clock in the evening, so we played pretty late. It got to like midnight, and I'm like, fucking hell, this rain's taking forever. So I was like, okay, I'm just going to honorably joust you now. He had one T-70 like 2 hull left. I had Vader and Duchess still alive, so I just was like jousting him with just putting a ship right in front of him. So I was like getting HLC shotted, and I couldn't kill him. He took Vader, and then Matt came over, who was he was doing the scoring, so I didn't have to do it and stuff. So I actually got a day off from TOing, which was fun. And it was like, are you guys still playing? Because the rain finished like 15 minutes ago. I'm like, all right, okay. So like, literally, you come over just as Vader dies and tell us we should have stopped playing 2 rains ago. So
we can back this back 3 turns.
Well, so I came 4th, but if Vader's alive, I came 2nd.
Aww.
So, whatever.
Whatever. It is what it is.
I still won, but yeah, I'm gonna claim 2nd place and screw you, Mark.
Even though it wasn't official that way.
Well, it would have been. The rain was over, man. It's like I shouted. It's like, well, no one heard you. Like literally no one, and all we heard was you complaining about your dice from trying to. But it's like, oh, I put Fenrir in a position to get shot by 4 TIE fighters, and then he died. I'm like, they shouldn't have. Yeah, this sounds familiar. Me on Friday.
Yep, I played that exact same game.
Yeah. But the list that won was a 6 TIE swarm, so it was good. Good to see.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Do you remember what that list was? Is that like was it the?
Yeah, I didn't play against it, so I don't know exactly what was in it. But it's the mostly named ties: Hellrunner, Iden, and then other abilities.
Makes sense. Makes sense. Still gonna try to make that list work. I still want to see it work.
Yeah.
I've seen other people do well with them. I was watching some of the games from the Outrider Cup, and I saw someone running the Reaper with like 7 Academy ties, and I thought that list was really kind of interesting because they've got Sloane on the Reaper, which seemed kind of cool. But in the end, it's still 7 Academy ties, and they drop like flies in that list. But it looked interesting.
I'm double stressed, but I'm still killing you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. It's interesting. Yeah. Anyway, as far as mine, I don't obviously have a ton to report. My wife spent some time last week in the fine state of Utah. Her place of work was having their holiday party and spent the entire week in the state of Utah. So I had the kids and I was playing stay-at-home dad that week. Well, stay at home and not go out at night kind of dad. And this week we had, I don't know, it was -2 when I got home from work on game night and said, yeah, I'm not going out there in this. I'd like to stay alive. So I elected to stay home on game night this week. I'm hoping to make that up this weekend, though, to get some games in. Obviously, if Chad's willing, I'll go and get some games in with him as well. So I did not get a chance to play.
I'll crush you.
Yeah, no, of course you will. I had this great list, but we'll get into that lately, that I didn't even ever got a chance to fly. I never got to fly it. Not once. Not one time.
Sad times.
So into the news real quick. Obviously, the points came out. That is going to be our main topic. So we're just kind of going to blow right by that because we're going to be talking a lot more about that. So we do have a couple of things to announce, of course. The Phoenix Open just happened. Apparently, Ryan Farmer won, but didn't win. So congratulations for FFG thinking you won the event, Ryan.
Yeah, congratulations, Phil.
Actually won. Yeah. So congrats for mistakenly winning the event, Ryan, I guess.
Second place is okay, I suppose.
Second place is good, too. It's just interesting how that worked out, because, of course, FFG rolled out the red carpet and said, oh, congratulations. He's like, yeah, I didn't win that.
Yeah.
So, oops. I guess there was a kerfuffle whenever the TOs turned in the results, and FFG ran with the article before the mistake was corrected. So, congratulations.
Was Steve Harvey TOing that?
Just as funny in the second time around. No, I don't know who was the TO for that one, but
it's done by through Cascade Games. All the system opens, so it's just the results that got sent in had the score flip flop for the final table. So that's
honest mistake.
The stuff I believe that happened anyway.
Honest mistake, though. And this was, of course, a extended event. This was not hyperspace, and this was pre-points change, correct?
Yes.
So some of the stuff that even if you see the results and list that came out of that, it's all basically null and void now because a lot of things have changed. But we do want to congratulate the winners and, of course, Ryan for taking second place. Yeah. We do have other news to talk about because we did some sleuthing and we found the Republic spread, but it was on a Polish website, so there has been some translation of these. So we know what some of the stuff in the Republic kind of does, we think. And as I know, Kris, you have the article up. I have it on my phone, but I feel it'd be kind of rude to be looking at my phone as I'm doing it because I was more prepared for the main topic. Do you want to go over some of the stuff that we saw?
Yeah. So we'll just really cover the Aether Sprite stuff, probably. I can't,
because that's the most exciting, really.
Yeah. So it's confirmed now that the purple evade action does need you to spend a force to perform it. So
and there's a reason behind it.
Yeah, people were like, oh, if you do this action, do you get a force token back? And it's like, well, that would give you focus evade, even though you've already spent your force point. So probably not. When you look at when you consider a 3 force point ship like Obi-Wan or Anakin, even if you spend 1 force to do your evade, you can still turn 2 of your focus results to evades and have an evade token. So it's fine being the way it is. Trust me.
Yes. So the only way you can use the purple action is you have to spend a force token to get it. Now, obviously, on that ship, they're all Jedi, even the generics.
Yeah, the Jedi Knights.
It kind of works out.
Where was that one? I think it's further up. I've gone. Yeah, Initiative 3, I believe, for the Jedi Knights. They just have the built-in ability, which I already know, which was when you execute your maneuver, you can spend a force to be able to do a boost or barrel roll.
Right. Yeah. So, super cool. It's going to be an interesting frame to see, to say the least. We do have some pilots. Obviously, if we want to start the top end one, we know Obi-Wan's ability, we think.
Yeah. So, Obi-Wan is Initiative 5, 3 force charges, and he is, when a friendly ship at range 0 to 2, we're going to say spends a force token, a focus token. You can spend 1 force token. If you do, the ship receives a focus token. So every time they spend a focus, you can give them 1 from Obi-Wan.
And keep in mind, Obi-Wan counts as a friendly ship.
Yes.
So he could spend a focus token.
And he's at range 0 of himself.
Of course. So he can spend a focus token, spend his force token to get that focus token back.
Yeah. So
which I think
what he could do, for example, is like take his focus, shoot at Initiative 5, spend a force, get shot, spend his focus, spend a force. He doesn't even need Brilliant Evasion. It's fine.
Exactly. Now, granted, you can only do that for so long. He does only recharge 1 force point per. But I mean, obviously, you're not going to try to get that ship into in the kill box of a whole bunch of ships. But if he does get in trouble,
I don't think you want to get any of these Jedi Starfighters in the kill box of any ships.
Yeah,
no, you don't want to, but Ed will anyway.
Oh no, I'll still end up doing it. I promise.
We have Plo Koon, and he's also Initiative 5 from looks of it. Only 2 force points. At the beginning of the combat phase, you can spend 1 force, and so it says 0.2, but select another ship within range 0 to 2. If you do, you can move 1 green chip, so we assume token, from you to the indicated ship, or move 1 orange token from the indicated ship to you. It could be interesting. I'm hoping there's some way to tractor beam yourself. So you can tractor beam a ship onto Plo, then you can move that token off the ship you tractor beamed onto Plo and barrel roll him as well.
Well, I was kind of curious as to what all tokens fall into the orange, because obviously the tractor tokens go
Tractor
into orange.
beams and jam, I believe.
And jam tokens.
Yeah.
So you're not going to want to jam yourself. So the only one that you could potentially...
Why? Why wouldn't you want to jam yourself? So remember, the orange tokens go away at the end of a turn. So if you've got a jam token on a ship that you want to get a target lock with to fire ordnance, and Plo moves before them, you can pull it over onto Plo, who doesn't lose anything because he's got his force to be. He's not losing his focus token because you don't take one.
That is a good argument.
Yeah. So you can jam tokens are actually pretty useless against force users. It's like, oh, I just won't focus then. I'll just use my force points to be my green tokens.
Right.
So.
Huh, that's interesting. I hadn't thought about that. My immediate reaction was, of course, go to the jam token and thinking the same way you did, but I hadn't really thought about pulling off jam tokens. That's pretty interesting. Anyway, so the next one?
So one thing on jam tokens, two things on jam tokens, actually.
Sure.
Kris Brown of old Nova Squadron radio fame. It might be on some other podcast now, I don't know.
Yeah, whatever. Maybe. I don't know.
It's probably not worth listening to if he is. Was our guest on Minok, and he was brought up the fact that if you've got you can target lock now. So in round 1, you can target lock with your ship and lock onto an asteroid.
Mm-hmm.
And then if the enemy ship that is going to jam you moves before you, if it jams you, you have to lose your target lock that you have on a rock. Because they choose between removing a focus or evade token or a target lock token. If you've only got the target lock, they have to get rid of that. So if you don't do this, the token would sit and ruin your action when you move. But because so cheeky, turn 1, lock onto rocks and be immune to being jammed.
They're gonna make you do that.
No, you can't.
It
you can
wastes
lock onto
your target lock.
Yeah.
Does it though? To prevent yourself from getting jammed? I don't know that I consider that a waste.
So it's only for 1 round. It's not actually that bad. And all that happens is the ship that might have jammed you does something else.
Like, oh darn, I can't jam you this turn.
Yeah. And if it moves after
you from doing other stuff.
Yeah. If it moves after you, it doesn't work because if they've locked onto a rock and focus, you get to pick what comes off anyway. And that brings us to the second point on jam. This is another rules discussion, which we did in the main topic last week. But jam is written as when you jam someone, you pick a green token or a target lock, and then they remove it. So people are reading that to be if I've got a focus evade and 2 target locks. Say you've somehow got like the double target lock and focus evade on the ship that gets jammed. That you say green token or target lock, and then they get to pick which one it is. That's wrong. It's because of the way it's worded. But remember, this isn't a rule on a card. This is in the rules reference in the rule book.
Right.
So this is designed of the game state is you only get 1 action because that's standard across the game.
Right. I see where you're going.
You can maintain your target lock. So the only game state that is permissible by the basic rules of the game are you could have a target lock and a focus token, or a target lock and an evade token. So that's why it's worded the way it is for simplicity, because if you start talking about taking off target lock 1 or target lock 2 from a ship, then people will be like, well, you can just target lock as many things as you want, because it says this in this part of rules, and you're confusing new players.
Yeah.
So the person who does the jamming gets to pick the actual thing that comes off. They don't say, I pick a green token, and you go, well, you're not fucking shooting me anyway, so I'll take my evade off. I'm still going to be focused when I shoot you. You say, I'll take the focus off, fuck you, I'm not shooting you anyway.
Yeah.
So, stop it.
Don't be that guy.
Yeah, that's how it was ruled at the System Open, whether it makes it to an FAQ or not, but that's how it's being ruled at all the major events. So, public service announcement. the person doing the jamming has all of the agency. You bend over and take what they give you.
Yep.
Okay.
Enjoy.
Mace Windu.
Mace Windu has some possibilities.
So he's only initiative 4, but he does have 3 force points. And the rough translation here is after you fully complete a red maneuver, recover 1 force. So,
So he could be in that situation where he's down to 1 force. He needs to bail out. He K-turns or sloops and comes back with full force.
Well, we've got the 2 sloops, the 4K and the 5K. 5K, Chad. You'll be all over it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The CSE tin? I don't know. Initiative 4.
You did better than I did, I think.
2 force points. When a friendly ship within range 0 to 2 reveals a maneuvering dial, you can spend 1 force. If you do, place a different maneuver on it with the same speed and difficulty.
So, as I said in the warm up, it's very much like Boba Fett's original Imperial ability, except better because it doesn't have to keep the same bearing.
And it works on any ship at range 0 to 2.
Correct.
So if
itself,
if Boba Fett was affecting, if old Boba Fett was affecting Fenro's dial, moving at initiative 6.
Oh God.
So if she's parked near Anakin, who's moving at initiative 6, and you just go, oh well, I've seen where you're going now. I probably want to turn left instead of right.
Yep, he can do that.
Yep.
Totally worth it. Totally worth it. That'll be interesting.
Yeah. I don't know if there's anything else. I don't want to read all the cards.
No, I don't think we're going to go over it. There is
I'll put a link to this Google Doc in the show notes, I suppose.
Yeah, one of the only things that jumped out was the fact that there were not 1 but 2 Palpatine cards showed in the spread.
Yeah, I think we did touch on that in the initial spoiler, I think. But yeah,
maybe we did. It's been a while since we talked about it.
Yeah, whoever wrote this is supposing that it's a dual card that is flippable, rather than it being 2 different cards. Because why would you be able to field Sidious? Because it's shown in the ARC article. Why would you take Sidious if you're running like Mace Windu and Obi-Wan and then Darth Sidious? So
yeah, fair argument.
It's basically summarizing that it's a dual card.
I could see that.
I just really hope that when it flips, you've got to take off all of your Jedi.
Order 66. I lose the game.
Or at least you've got to perform attacks with your clones at them. I don't know.
Ooh, that would be interesting.
Yeah, just don't be an ask. It'll be fine.
So it's interesting because I thought what they're going to do something similar with like 000, where like technically it's a scum card, but it can be played in the Empire. Technically, this came in a Republic one, but can be played in the Separatist. I don't know. Well, I mean,
I guess it'll be interesting. Yeah,
it would be interesting. Wouldn't be the first time they've done it. There is precedence. It's the only reason I'm pointing that out.
Yeah, but I'll put a link to a Google Doc in the show notes, so you can peruse it at your leisure.
All right. Anything else to cover in the news, or can we move on to talking about?
I have a question. If he's done.
Sure. Yeah. No. Go ahead.
Was there any Polish translations for an Anakin and a Naboo starfighter yet?
No.
Oh.
Okay, so Chad, you missed last show, but one of the artwork for one of the droid ships does show a Naboo starfighter. So I want you to keep your hope alive that it is entirely possible that we will get little Anakin in a Naboo starfighter.
Swiftly moving, just interjecting and moving on. There was an article from FFG about the organised player changes. So Alex Watkins is now is the head of OP. Fellow Brit, so good job. He'll do well. And they're changing the naming conventions, so it's like we're getting store championships and regionals and everything back, rather than hyperspace stuff. But yeah,
no, that's interesting. I missed that.
Yeah,
there's 2 other pieces of news if we want to go into. I mean, technically, Christian Peterson left FFG. We didn't exactly cover that.
Yeah, he did a nice goodbye article. Yeah.
Yeah, he's going on to other bigger things other than FFG.
So I can sell all of his shares now.
Uh-huh.
It's not insider trading anymore. I know.
Okay, so we did get an official ruling that we should take note of. This is in the official rules thread on FFG's site. These end up in FAQs at some point in time. This is kind of like a holding bin for those rulings until such time as they make it into the FAQ. The question, of course, is if a ship with Han Solo Rebel Gunner is made to engage at Initiative 7 through effects like Rourke Garnet or Heightened Reflexes, must it perform Han Solo's bonus attack first? And the answer to this question is, of course, yes. Han Solo Rebel Gunner's effect occurs at Initiative 7 before any ship engages, including the one on which Han Solo is equipped. So Han Solo's bonus attack always performs first. This means that it cannot perform Han Solo's bonus attack and then perform a subsequent attack from the same turret. So as in the lore of Star Wars, so it is in X-Wing. Han always shoots first.
So that's actually a reversal of a previous ruling, which was you get to pick because of both your own abilities, and it basically just addresses Dash Rourke, which was it wasn't necessarily a top table list, but it was definitely a feels bad man list to play against because it just changes the game like fundamentally. Of because you're not playing X-Wing anymore. It's just I either win this game or I lose it, effectively. And
so under the old ruling, they would pull off Han shot.
So they would shoot with the ship's innate attack at Initiative 7 first, and then use Han to be a bonus attack out of the same arc, and then they weren't allowed to shoot out of the same arc again, but they can't because they've already performed 2 attacks. You can only perform 1 bonus attack. So
even though I tried to pull that one off with Quick Draw. I can't do it again? Aw.
Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
So that is good. Oh yeah, that's the news.
That is the news. All right, so we're going to get into the meat of this one, the one that we all really want to talk about, which are the points changes. We're going to move on to the main topic right after this. All right, we're back into the main topic, the main reason why we're all here. We're going to talk about points and points changes. Before we get too far into the details, first of all, I want to get everyone's kind of first impressions. What their thoughts are on the points changes overall. We don't need to necessarily get into individual ones yet. We will get there, and then we'll move on to talk about our challenge, and we'll see who shall win. So I'd like to offer mine up first, and then I'll let everyone else kind of key off of that one. There's a couple of points real quick, high level. One, how great is it to live in an era of X-Wing where, there's this massively oppressive combo and it's breaking the game and it's not fun. It doesn't feel good. We'll fix that. We'll just take that option away, or we'll bump points up or lower points down. It's fantastic. It's something that coming from the old first edition, we didn't have. I love it. One way or the other, whether or not I agree or disagree with a lot of these changes, I love the fact that it's there. Second, is you could tell that there were certain things that FFG overvalued as far as what they thought they were and brought them down. Things like large base ships, for example, all came down almost across the board. Force users all came down almost across the board.
Funny that I'm sure we said that when we did it.
Interesting how that worked out. In another era of the game, this would have had to wait for what did they used to call them?
The Squadron, the Aces packs.
The Aces packs or the Veterans packs, where an upgrade would come out to drop something out 2 points, and it would be months and months and months after the ship was released because of their development schedule. Now they can just push a button and change points.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Thank you, FFG. My first overall impressions. Kris, would you like to go and follow that up?
Yeah, so I completely agree. The thing that really struck me was that we kind of spoke about it when we were preempting the points change and stuff, of like, will they do hyperspace stuff? Will they do extended stuff? If they don't do a lot of hyperspace stuff, is it because hyperspace is already pretty good? And I feel like we were bang on the money with what we said. Like, hyperspace was pretty solid apart from a couple of outliers that got brought in quite a lot, and then lots of stuff got changed and extended. And it's really good. The sheer number of changes took me by surprise. I was really amazed. And There's two very specific instances I want to talk about of like it's not as in not only the points changes in the way they did it, but they removed the crew slot from Weebo and left him on all of the others because Weebo with C-3PO was pretty dirty. Oh, we've lost Chad momentarily. Is he going to come back? Oh, yeah, we'll just keep talking and hope that he comes back.
Hope he comes back in.
Yeah, I'll just turn that off for now. Okay, so I'm not even going to edit this out because I'm terrible at my job. So Weebo with 3PO, his Weebo's ability is when you spend a calculate, you can get one back. 3PO's ability involves when you calculate, you get a second calculate token. So that was pretty oppressive, and it meant that you have to take that combination into account for costing 3PO and Weebo. But if you just remove a slot, 3PO can be costed appropriately for every other ship, and Weebo can be costed appropriately because you can't have that combo.
Right.
And then the other one was what we spoke about in the news of them just ripping apart the functionality of Dash and Rock with Hand Gunner.
Yes.
Just don't. Yeah, we're not going to change the points so that it's absurd. Just don't do it. And,
you're not allowed to do it.
Yeah.
We won't let you.
No.
So I do have one point I want to camp on to what you were saying. One of the other things, because you were talking about things getting removed from ships that you don't have to worry about so much things. They did the same thing with the Phantom. So they removed the crew slot and gave it the gunner slot. So the old choke and cloak is gone.
Yeah. So
we hardly knew the
Whisper's not as good. You can still do like Fifth Brother and stuff now, which is probably the only crew, but
well, it starts to remind me. And again, I know we don't like referring back to first edition, but it sort of reminds me of the old Buzzsaw Whispers back in the day.
Yeah,
that doesn't have the 4 attack dice it used to have, but it does remind you of that.
Yeah, I'm not sad to see that go. It wasn't just Vader. There was a lot of like hiding Sloane in Whisper was a pretty obnoxious way of fielding Sloane. So there's a few things that does fix. So hey ho, not the worst. And like I said, I'm happy that they're embracing that kind of change. It's really, really good to see. I remember I was chatting with I think it was Travis Johnson from the Carolina Crates cast and saying like, the thing is, even if this points change isn't perfect, the fact that this is like iteration 1, like we had X-Wing like version 0, right now we're on like version 1 now, because everything's come out, they've looked at it, they've tweaked it. So this is a game as it, like, it's not even a game as it's meant to be played, because we've got 2 more factions to come yet. You know what I mean? Like, there's so much to be excited about that you just have to like embrace this and roll with it. So oh no, my Red Line Whisper fell list isn't legal anymore because of blah 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 whatever. Or I can't have Cloak and Choke, or I really enjoyed making people cry with Dash Rock. So well, find something new. It's going to be evolving, and the good thing about it is the game will stay like dynamic and interesting without you having to spend more money.
Yeah, no, exactly. But what it does put you into that space of, okay, so now my points, so now I can't do this 2-3 ship combination. I can still do 2 of those 3 things, but now I need to find out that other missing piece kind of thing. Or in some cases where they just flat out break something and say, no, you can't do it.
Yeah.
I was also going to take note of that they made points adjustments for First Order and Resistance almost right after they were released, but that necessarily doesn't surprise me because they did something very similar whenever they released the game. Because we, on record, heard Alex Davies say, oh yeah, no, Academy TIE Fighters are 24 points. And then the app comes out and they're 23 points. They had already made a points adjustment. So I'm sort of not that surprised by that.
Yeah. So Chad might jump back in as we're chatting. We'll see.
What was I say? We'll just continue
there's a blue
on.
screen, but yeah, we'll see.
If he makes it, he makes it.
Yeah.
I see you guys. Do you see me?
Don't see you yet, but we can hear. Oh yeah, we see you. It's good. You are back.
Finally.
Yay.
Good to have you back, buddy.
My internet went down.
It was Skype forced an update on me as well, and on Ed, so it's been one of those days.
Yeah, no, like literally, like Skype stopped working. It started up and said, "Hey, we're gonna do that update now." Like, thanks, Microsoft. Really appreciate that.
I did the update before I started.
You did.
I know, but
you were prepared and better than us, and still got fucked. Get wrecked.
Yeah.
It still didn't work out.
Yeah. So how far did you guys get into this?
We didn't get too far at all. We were talking about Kris had mentioned a couple of things they took away, like combos they took away, like Rourke, and a couple by removing slots from ships, how it made those combos broken. I had mentioned that Whisper lost her crew slot. Well, all Phantoms lost their crew slots, so you can no longer do the cloak and choke. That's all we've discussed. We were just getting ready to start talking about the contest, so you came at a perfect time.
Well, we get Chad's thoughts on, because Chad didn't get to give his initial impressions of points changes.
Correct.
So
They happened.
yay. Okay.
My list got cheaper.
Mhm.
Logan's got more expensive, so that's
Yeah, you can't run the multiple protons anymore, thank God.
Yeah. Other than that, I really haven't looked a whole lot into it recently. I've had so much stuff going on with my foot and everything, and work, and I just really haven't had time to look at a lot of stuff.
Just assessing the list that you're running. There you go. It got cheaper. Good.
Yep.
Yeah. I told him.
Now
I
you're
said
gonna have a good time to go over it.
Yeah, I told him. I said I looked at the app a little bit ago, and I'm like, hey, my list got cheaper, and I'm playing around with it, and I'm like, hey, I could put a shield grade upgrade on Vader, you know?
No.
So all you do now is, if you say Logan's got more expensive, you say, you know that tournament that I just beat you in? I was playing like one hand behind my back, and you were actually cheating. Just saying.
I'm just saying.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a little contest going on. Obviously, one of our team members is not here, but we will continue to press on with that with Sean's Points Productions. So, Kris, we have a problem with this.
Yes. So
FFG threw us a curveball with supernatural reflexes.
Yeah, we didn't predict that they were going to introduce initiative-based pricing. So on the Facebook page, I gave 3 options on how we should resolve the supernatural issue. Option 1 was we just remove supernatural from the equation, so we would have one.
He's counting. For the audio audience at home, he's counting.
Yeah, so we'd have 8 choices instead of 9. And just score it from that. The second option was that when we initially suggested it, I think it was either myself or Ed who suggested Supernatural as one of our choices. We were mainly talking about it being on Kylo and Luke, so we were going to take the Initiative 5 option as the base cost and talk about it from there. And then the third option was when we said like a TIE Defender change or a Y-Wing change, the way I worked that out was I added up every pilot option and then divided it by the number of pilot options to see what the average change was. Because sometimes you'd have a ship that would go, like one pilot would go up by 4, the next initiative down would go up by 3, the next initiative down would go up by 2, and we took the average from all of those. So those were 3 options. Scott said we should do option 3, and he was the only person, so that option was losing. Ignoring it and taking Kylo's initiative were tied, so I believe Ed's got a coin ready.
I'm gonna die.
We're gonna just roll for it. So 1, 2, 3, we ignore it. 4, 5, 6, we use Kylo's pricing, and this is gonna change who wins.
Nope, on the table.
On the table,
on the table. It is a 6.
Okay, so we're going to take it as Kylo's pricing. So
only time he'll ever roll a 6.
I know, right?
Yeah, so I need to punch all of this in now. This will be fun.
Nothing like doing it live.
Yeah, something like that.
See, I thought you had both options figured out.
Well, they're on the same spreadsheet, so this makes me a sad panda.
That means Kris doesn't win.
Well, there was no way I could win anymore. If we'd have done it as the average of all of them, I won. But that option was taken off the table because it had the least number of votes. If we ignored it completely, myself and Ed were tied. And then if you do it as the increase being 12 points, Ed said it was going to go up by 8 points and was the highest, so Ed wins.
Woo! I've won something.
Yeah,
Wasn't a
He
game.
doesn't
record,
even
but I
play
won
the
something.
game.
So some interesting.
Yes.
Let's go through this. We had.
I had no idea how it was going to turn out one way or the other with the dice rolls before. So I couldn't have. I had no idea how that was going to work out, so I didn't cheat on the dice rolls. I gave it a genuine roll.
No, we kept the results secret all the way through. So I got the most changes correct. I got the striker not changing, outmaneuver not changing, and the quad jumper going up by 3 as my 3 most correct. Sean got the most correct. I missed that. Sean said the defender was going to go down by 2. The striker, Bubba Fett he called correct, and Protons he called correct as well.
Look at that.
Sean also got the most wrong though.
No. So it kind of balances out.
Yeah. So he got the most correct, and he also got the most wrong. Like the ones where he came last in the guess. So the overall scoring was, I did them on a points differential, so the points difference you were away from the actual change. So in last place we had, because of the supernatural way we did it, it also changed who came last. We had Chad with a 21.5 differential. So I only beat him by 1 point because I came in third because of you all ruining my dice roll with 20.5. Sean was off by 18.5, and then Ed was off by 15.5. If we ignored Supernatural, me and Ed tied on 11.5.
Oh, very nice. So we were kind of close. How? Because now I want to know how close did I come?
So you were. So your biggest, the one you got most wrong. You were 4 points off on quite a few of them. So you were 4 points off on the TIE Fighter because you said it was going to go up because you're a moron. You were 4 points off on Supernatural because you said it was going to cost 8, go up by 8. So for 20 points on Kylo, it's 24. You said the strike was going to go down by 4 points, when it didn't change. You said the quad jumper wasn't going to change for some reason. Yeah, it changed by 4. No, by.
I thought it changed by 3.
Oh, maybe you win by even more.
I could be wrong.
Oh no, sorry, no. I read the wrong column. Yeah, you said it was going to change by 4. It changed by 3.
Okay.
So your differential was 1. Yeah, sorry. Yeah. So the ones you got correct were outmaneuver and protons. You called spot on. You were the most wrong on strikers and defenders, and you were the closest out of all of us on supernatural, Y-wings, and Palpatine. Don't get too excited for Palpatine because we all had the same.
Yeah, I
know. Then what else was of interest? Yeah, the biggest loser, so the biggest differential was the 9-point swing for Supernatural, because I said it was only going to change by 3. But if you work out the averages, it changed by 3.15 or something. So I would have been bang on with the it would have done it across it, because it included initiative 0 in there at 4 points.
That helps out.
Yeah, so that.
But how can we anticipate that though? Do you know what I mean? So it's a little wonky.
I'm just gonna say that when you take the average the same way we did all of them, that I was awesome and everyone should worship me as an X-Wing points guessing god. Ignoring the fact that I said like tidies would come down by 6.
All right, so it's gonna go with the cliff notes over some of these.
So you need to pick a charity at some point as well to donate all of the Patreon money to from this episode.
I can announce that now. It's super easy. I, of course, have my 2 oldest children are type 1 diabetics. So we have supported the Juvenile Diabetes Research Fund for quite some time, since my daughter was 2 years old. So that would be the charity I would like to donate the winnings of this to.
Okay, so I will, once we go live, however much of Patreon says we're going to get, that'll get donated, and we'll post about it on our Facebook page. So
fantastic. Thank you guys, all the patrons, we appreciate that. We really do.
Yeah.
All right,
good
so let's
fun.
get into some
Enjoyed
points.
it. Yeah.
That's okay. So I'm going off just as the spreadsheet that we have, just the order that we have it in. So we're starting off with the Imperials. I didn't pick it, they did. Alpha Class Star Wings dropped by 2 points across the board.
Don't care. Sex ended.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
You're going to hear that a lot from me at the moment because I'm all about the hyperspace.
Yep, exactly. Lambda shuttles did not change.
Oh, you're not doing all of them, are you? Come on.
All dropped by 2 points across the board, except for the Baron of the Empire for some reason that only dropped 1 point, but nobody flies that. They're really flying the Inquisitor. So the Inquisitor is really the one that you're looking for on that one. Again, I have no problems with any of these changes. You didn't really see them, at least not in hyperspace. So now let's get into one that we do see. The TIE Advance X1. Down across the board. Vader down by 5. Steel down by 4. Vaslo, for whatever reason, only went down by 2. ZX Storm went down by 3. And the generics all went down by 3. So Vader obviously being the biggest benefit to that one. Again, I think this is part of... Well, Vader's is definitely part of the... Well, Force users aren't nearly as strong as we thought they were. Do want to give credit to FFG for a design feature on that one because they thought that it was going to be more impressive than it was. But what a great way to introduce the Force into the game without being overly impressive.
Yeah, I think the fact that they lose out on the talent slot and have to take a Force slot instead has a lot to do with it. And
yeah, that is an interesting change. Of course, something they could change if they wanted to. We did see stuff like that happen. Vader coming down by 5, I got super excited until I read Supernatural Reflexes and went, oh, on Vader, Supernatural Reflexes is 36 points. Holy crap.
Yeah.
So Supernatural Vader is definitely not worth the points in this juncture, considering what it does.
No, not really. Like, you'd have to be getting a lot of work out of him. Supernatural Vader is 101 points on his own, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, with no other upgrades. So, yeah, probably not.
And Supernatural Kylo is like 100.
Supernatural Kylo went up by 6 points because the chassis came down.
Yes.
So that's still viable for me, but...
Yeah, well, yeah, considering the chassis and the fact that it has a native boost, absolutely. Yeah. I'm just double checking here. Quick. Save squads. My Kylo one. Yeah, Kylo comes in at 100 points even just for Supernatural.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
No change whatsoever in the following ships. TIE Interceptor stayed the same. Nothing changed. The TIE Reaper, nothing changed. TIE Aggressor, nothing changed. Now, things like the
Aggressor's probably a mistake. That probably could have come down. But exactly the comparison point did go up because the bomber went up. So if you're looking at a missile platform, you've got the bomber, the Punisher, and the aggressor. The Punisher and the bomber both went up. So
yeah, when that came across the board on a lot of bomb platforms or torpedo platforms, things like that, those all kind of went up. So it's interesting to see that one didn't change. So maybe that balances it out. We'll see. I don't know. I never saw anyone fly it.
No, you wouldn't. There's no point flying an aggressor because the bomber is just a better version of the aggressor. Apart from you don't get the turret slot, but there's no good turrets anyway. So
even though they all came down across the board, generic turrets.
It's true. Dorsal for 2 points.
That's a free cannon. I'm thinking of.
Yeah, jamming beam. It's good.
Yep. So the TIE Punisher.
I haven't flown an aggressor since first edition.
No.
Yeah. TIE Punisher, this should surprise absolutely nobody. Redline goes from 44 points to 52 points. That is a difference of 8 points.
Yeah.
Death Ring goes up by 2, and the Cutlass Quadrant Pilot goes up by 2. So no surprises there. Redline obviously was one of the out-of-the-gate first ones that people latched onto and said, hey, this is broken, let's fly that. So I'm indifferent to that. I think that's absolutely the right choice. I'm comfortable with that.
The white reload is really strong on them as well.
Yeah.
That's a good change.
TIE defenders all down 2 points.
Only 4 more points to go, and then we can have 3 of them.
Yeah, it is important to note.
Creeping ever closer to that break
you
point.
Still cannot run 3 of them. Even with the low end of the 71, you're still stuck at 2 at max for the Delta squadrons. Vesseray down to 86, Riot at 84. All good
Wrath
changes.
at 82. That's the value right there.
Rexer Wrath at 82.
So
absolutely.
A Duking Rexer Wrath is still the same points, and then you don't put anything else on him, and you're getting value.
Yep, absolutely. So a ship that I felt needed help, and it definitely got one. The TIE Fighter. So Kris and I had this conversation off air. I can have it on air. I'll say the same thing. I'm perfectly comfortable with the fact that generics did not change. None of the TIE Fighters changed. They all stayed exactly the same points. What I liked to have seen would have been Howrunner and Iden coming down from 40 points to 38 or even 37. Now, Kris did have a good counter back on this one in that since all of the points of the really good ships went up, the value of a 40-point Howrunner also went up in turn. So
yeah,
I can kind of see that.
I was talking about like when we did our points change, it was all in reference to the X-Wing. So we had the discussion of you thought it should be in reference to a TIE Fighter and all of that. And the X-Wings didn't change and the TIE Fighters didn't change. So they are still the baseline ships that FFG are using, and everything moved around those ships. Correct. So that's why if you change 100% of everything, you don't have a baseline to be working from. So TIE Fighters and X-Wings are obviously, well, I would put forwards that they are the baseline, the power level that FFG wants everything to sit at. So
I would agree with that.
I would say, barring like an individual pilot change, like if Wampa is outperforming every other TIE Fighter, Wampa might get an increase, but I don't think we'll see a chassis change for X-Wings or TIE Fighters.
Right, and a lot of these changes do reflect it. It's the actual chassis itself dropping in points. The named pilots just happen to benefit from
a good one would be the changes for the Phantom. Obviously, the crew
funny you mentioned that.
Yeah, the crew sort switching to Gunner is definitely we're not happy that everyone just takes Vader, and it's quite abusive. Because you've got the combo of Duke and free evade token and Vader. So that was pretty abusive. But Whisper goes up. Echo and the Sigma don't change, but the Imdar test pilot comes down.
So what that means is that the chassis itself actually dropped 1 point. Everyone else went up another 1 point, and then Whisper went up an additional 2 points on top of that.
The way I would read it is that if you've got a Phantom that has access to Duke, that's inherently worth more than a Phantom that cannot take Duke. So rather than pricing Duke 1 more point, they've kept the Phantoms that can take it 1 point higher. And it comes back to what we were saying about Weeble and 3PO. Just taking away the access to that combo means that you can price an Imdar test pilot a point cheaper because they'll never have access to Duke.
Yeah, so you don't even need to worry about it.
Yeah.
As we mentioned before, all the torpedo boats found themselves with a significant points increase. The TIE Bomber not avoiding this one. Jonas goes up from 36 points to 43. That is a 5-point increase. 4-point increases for Major Reimer, 4-point increase for Bren, and then Deathfire goes up by 2.
It's 2 for the rest of them. Yeah.
And 2 for the rest of them down the line. So they didn't lose any slots. They just went up in points.
Jonas's increase is pretty good because
I agree.
Jonas was good enough and cheap enough that you would take him to just use his ability on himself.
Yes.
Which feels wrong. I'm going to take Hull Runner to just buff Hull Runner would never happen. So why should it happen with Jonas?
Yep, I agree.
The one that this was my disappointment, like my deep dark hope, was the Strikers were going to come down.
No change.
I just wanted to be able to run Vader, like a decent Vader with some stuff, and all 3 named.
So, as there was basically a universal wipe down for all large base ships, because we're not seeing a ton of them in the big metas right now, the Decimator comes down significantly. Chirno down from 88 points down to 80. Eugen down 84 to 78, and Patrol Leader from 80 down to 72.
I was listening to the Crates. They put the podcast out on Tuesday, I think it was. Well, that's when I listened to it anyway. And Chris Allen had the pretty simple observation when you think about it, but Rear Admiral Chirno now costs what a patrol leader cost in first edition.
Yeah, I did notice that. That's crazy. Yeah. That is crazy.
And it's like, yeah, I don't get to shoot 360, but I still cost 40 points in old money. Yeah.
I'll make the other observation. So if all the large base ships went down, what happened to the poor shuttle?
So no, it's turrets. It was large base turrets that went down.
Oh, is it large base turrets that went down?
I don't think. I'll have to double check. I'll scroll ahead. I don't think the VCX went down.
Well, I think the YV666 went down and lost a crew slot.
Yeah.
So now that's down to 2. So you can't do the big. You can't do the big party bus, so I think that's kind of balances out.
Yeah. So the it gained a gunner slot though.
Yeah, it gained a gunner slot, but it lost a crew slot, so you couldn't do like the bounty hunter bus and like put all the bounty hunter crew on top of it.
I'm gonna sneakily skip us ahead of Crapwater Pilots and say like VCX did go down across the board, apart from Chopper who went up, and it gained its sensor slot back. So it didn't have a sensor slot. So you can advance sensors, Chopper to reinforce, ram into someone, give them 2 jam tokens, and then zeb them, and be like, "Yeah, come at me, bro."
Come at me. Points increase for 000 from 3 to 5 points. I'm kind of okay with that. It only comes into play with Vader, correct?
In the Imperial faction, yeah.
Yeah. So, other notable ones: Grand Inquisitor went down by 2 points. Grand Moff Tarkin went down 4 points. Now that is a pretty significant one to kind of talk about. I will give credit where credit's due. We're talking about other podcasts that we're listening to. I was listening to, I believe it was the Gold Squadron, probably. Shout out to Dion and his crew out there, where they were talking about the concepts of commanders inside the game. These are your large point crews that actually affect larger bodies. They actually kind of affect how the squad flies together altogether. Sloane's a good example of this one.
Yeah.
Tarkin's another one. Tarkin was probably a little bit too high, which is why we didn't see him a ton, and he dropped significantly by 4 points. He now comes into that area of maybe at 6 points, maybe.
Okay, so I want to hear about your new first order list, Ed.
I'm trying to see if there's Palpatine. We gotta talk about Palpatine. Palpatine dropped by 2 points.
So, points. We touched on that when we said we were pretty confident that all the Force using crew and gunners would all come down. Like Luke Gunner came down to 26 points, which when you consider that Rebel turrets came down as well,
yeah.
I'm trying very hard to not play 1.0 X-Wing here. Lando with Luke Gunner's pretty damn good.
Pretty good.
What if I told you I could cost 106 points, have a target lock focus every turn, and still be able to shoot you no matter what? Because I can just rotate my arc for free. 106 points to not have to play the game.
Yeah, you do sacrifice the second attack that a gunner slot normally would give, but I think it's worth the sacrifice, to be perfectly honest with you.
Especially on Lando, I did a blue 1 bank, so I'll take my target lock, and then for my action I'll take a focus. So
and then I'll have Luke Gunner with a force token, just in case.
If I accidentally manage to somehow catch a win arc without having to Luke, oh well, I've got a soft mod.
Yeah, exactly.
If you're good at the game and I need to use Luke, oh well.
All right, so on to the first order in the list I never got to fly. The only change that the TIE FO gets is Null loses his talent.
Oh, are you sad about, was it squad leader?
It was squad leader. I never knew.
So you were degenerate. I do not feel bad for you.
Well, like you could coordinate Kylo and just make him completely broken. Never got to fly the list. Never got to see it used. No points changed. Nothing had changed. That's the only thing they changed on the FO. It said, "Oh, but you can't use null." But that begs the question of when they made a 0 initiative pilot with a talent. You can't tell me they didn't see that coming. Like even if you used, what is it? It's not squad leader. It's the other one. It's the one
Swarm
that can
tactics.
pass their initiative around.
Swarm tactics.
Yeah, swarm tactics. Like
No,
even
but
at
that's fun. All right. Oh, okay. They're all shooting at initiative 7. It's like, okay. I just kill him now. But you've got to remember, you're in an environment where null can take biohexacrypt codes and squad leader. Turn 1, I target what Kylo. Turn 2, I run away. I fly in the opposite direction to everything else with null. The exact moment you think you've caught Kylo, sorry, bro. I think you'll find I barrel rolled and boosted. Unfucking lucky. So yeah, okay, I'm not sad that an initiative 7 coordinate is not in the game.
Oh darn! So that's the only change that goes there.
Yeah, the silencers though. The silencer
Special
platform.
Forces ties stayed the same.
Oh, we don't care about stuff that stayed the same. Come on.
All right, so silencer.
Do you want a 4-hour episode, Ed? Because that's how we get a 4-hour episode.
All right, you're right. So let's not do that. Fair point.
Yeah.
So moving forward, if we don't mention a ship, it didn't change. So tie silencer down 4 points, almost across the board. Actually, Blackout went cheaper. 6.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting because Kylo went down 6.
Yeah.
Blackout goes down 6, and then everything else is 4, 4, 4, 4 the whole way down.
Yeah, they lost. Did we lose a mod slot as well? I think it doesn't say it on the spreadsheet.
It doesn't say it on the spreadsheet that we have, but I know that it did because you can't take prime thrusters on it anymore. So the spreadsheet that we're looking at is inaccurate. You're right; they did lose the modification slot.
No, you can take prime thrusters. It just went up. It just doesn't have a mod slot. It still has a tech.
Oh, it still has the tech.
Yeah, so you can't take like afterburners for an extra free boost that doesn't count as a boost and barrel roll off that and then still I don't know.
So it did lose the mod slot and hence came down those points. Interesting again because Force users all came down kind of as a board to see Kylo come down, but with Supernatural's changes it kind of comes out in the wash.
That's when you think that Kylo's price had to take into account that he could take Supernatural. Going to initiative based pricing for Supernatural means that you can then tier everything down, which is why it's really elegant and I really like it.
So we're into the generic upgrades right now, and I'm just going to go the ones of note. I'm not going to go over all of them because like R2's dropped from 6 to 4.
Regen dropped from 6 to 4.
Jamming beam. It is a 0-point cannon. If you've got a cannon slot, why not?
So this falls into the just because you can doesn't mean you should. Because if you take jamming beam, it means you'll fire it, and then you'll go, yeah, take those 3 jam tokens, and they'll be like, okay, that would have been 3 damage though.
Right, exactly. Supernatural reflexes. We of course talked about this at infinitum already. This is obviously one of the big changes that came out of this, and how it is tiered from pilot skill 0 all the way up to pilot skill 6 or 7. 6.
It's cheaper if you're initiative 1, 2, or 3 or 0.
Right, and I again mentioned in the pre-show. It's kind of interesting how they left open pilot skills 0 and 1. It's almost like maybe someday we'll see people with a force slot that's a pilot's initiative 0 or initiative 1.
Yeah.
Because even the Jedi Knights are initiative 3. Agile Gunner went down by 2. Veteran Turret Gunner went down by 2.
This Veteran Turret Gunner is an interesting one.
What's that?
Veteran Turret Gunner is the one that lets you shoot. So considering Y-Wings got cheaper, which we'll get to, and Turrets got cheaper, which we'll get to, Veteran Turret Gunner getting cheaper starts to mean you can run more double tapping Y-Wings.
That is interesting, isn't it? It's almost like we didn't see Y-Wings in the meta. Almost. All right, so now on the stuff that really went up. Barrage rockets up by a point. Homing missiles up by 2 to 5 points. Abrasive plating up by 2 to 6 points. Afterburners down by 2.
Abrasive plating hurts the Star Fortress for resistance. Because the chassis came down, but Trajectory Simulator and Ablative Plating both went up. And seeing as it's really hard to avoid your own bombs if you fling them forwards, it kind of... It's an overall loss for the Trajectory Simulator Star Fortress. So just take it as a gun platform and be happy.
Yep, be happy with that. Engine upgrade went down across the board, 1 point for each individual.
So base size for that one. So
right,
the Hawk only pays 2 points for it now. So if you're running an offensive, a Scum Hawk, basically a paylob can now... I could see a paylob with an engine being more viable because it's only 2 points.
Yep. Munitions failsafe went blah blah blah. Munitions failsafe went down by 1. Don't care. The only way if it went down to 0, I think it'd be better. But...
I don't know. I'm now at the point where if I'm building a rebel list and I've got wedge with torpedoes and I'm at 199 points, so if I was at 198, I still wouldn't put munition failsafe on. I'd take a 2-point bid.
Right.
If I'm at 199, I would put munition failsafe on wedge now. You know what I mean? It's close, because there's not that many. Engine upgrade isn't the same thing, you know. I don't know. It's really tempting for me now, just at that level of insurance, especially if you're looking at something like a Prockets, which is a one-shot.
Yeah.
Paying 8 points for a Pocket, so if you just roll badly, it doesn't matter. I'll have that charge back.
Doesn't matter. Just shoot it again. So that's one thing I like, is like it's brought a lot of these point values that are low enough that you're like, well, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. It brought a whole bunch of things into the mix that weren't quite there because there were 2 points. They weren't worth it before.
Yeah, at 2 points, it was never a consideration. At 1 point, I'm like, why not? You know,
why not?
What else am I going to do? Yeah.
Static discharge vanes up by 2. It's for all those Poe players, is it not?
But it's one of those ones where it was really situational anyway. So where it was situationally really good, I think you'd still pay 2 points for it.
I agree.
When it's like, if you weren't, I don't know. I didn't see it a lot. It being more expensive means I probably still won't see it a lot.
Advanced sensors up by 2. It's kind of good. Okay with that.
Yeah. Collision detector up by 1. Not too sad. It's still a really good sensor. Probably the best sensor. And it's at the current pricing. Unless you're on Vader, in which case fire control at 2 points should be stapled on now.
I was just going to say that. And it dropped down by 1. So I like it. Because it's not the fire control system as old where you're just shoot and reload, shoot and reload, shoot and reload. Now it's a soft mod on your dice. So at 2 points, I'm totally on
board. It's old Predator if you have the target lock.
Yes.
Yeah.
Trajectory Simulator, however, up by
7 points. Yeah.
To 10 points.
I feel like this is telling Punisher players just no. Just stop it.
Just go put it away. Try something else. You're not going to do it anymore.
Composure.
Debris Gambit going up by 1.
Composure first.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry, I missed it. Composure went down by 1.
Yeah. So if you're bad at the game and feel like you want to boost and can't, you only have to pay 1 point to take that focus token. But get good at the game after, I don't know. I can't. Composure seems like too much of a. The actions that you can fail are like really hard to fail now. Boosts and barrel rolls are where it comes in, and if you're not sure, just focus anyway. Like, even if it was 0, this is my munition failsafe, I suppose. It would have to be 0 for me to consider it.
To even consider it, yeah.
Yeah.
Debris Gambit up by 1. Okay.
Yeah, this is a rebel toning down, I feel like, or like some of the silencers, not like silencers with Debris Gambit even at 3 points because the silencer chassis went down so much. It's still pretty good.
Yeah, it still comes out in the wash.
Yeah.
Juke up by 1. Yeah.
Yeah, there's certain ships where it can still go up. The big one for Duke, actually, is the Quad Phantom list. You now can't take 4 of them. It comes out at 204 points. So you've got to drop 1, which means that a lot of people are saying, "Oh, you're only dropping 1, so just put Crackshot on that one or something," and it's the same list.
Yeah, but the generic lost its talent slot. You can't take it anyway.
No, the initiative.
Oh, the one up from there. Yeah. Okay, yeah.
So I would beg to differ. So I think if you're a really good player, you'll still get value out of 4 Phantoms. But I think that in the matchups that matter, or the games that matter, having one that doesn't have Duke is going to be really punishing, because your target priority gets stupendously more easy. Because the way Duke works is that it's a massive force multiplier. The first shot triggers Duke and they spend the target lock. Then every Duke after that is a 3 point of damage.
Yep.
So if you out PS them, you just shoot at the one of the ones that has Duke and force it to spend an evade or kill it. And it makes your opponent's decisions easier. So it's still a decent list, but I'm not convinced that it's going to remain. So that's what Ryan Farmer took to second place at Phoenix, was Quad Phantoms with Duke. I'm not convinced it's going to be that level of list anymore.
Yeah, I think it definitely points that one out.
Yeah, well, it's putting myself out there to be shot down, so feel free to prove me wrong, everybody, you know. But I don't think that that's going to be winning the events that it was winning before.
Lone Wolf up by 1. Okay.
Yeah, it's still an option, I think.
Yeah.
It's very playstyle dependent. If you're running a 2-ship list, you're probably still going to want to take Lone Wolf and can find the points for it.
Trickshot went up by 1.
This is a big one. This is a 100% increase for Trickshot.
Well, yeah, but what was it being run on?
It's really good on any large base ships because of the way the bases work. If you've got your arc to the side, you can catch a lot of trick shots. But it was effectively
really effective was like Dash. Like trick shot and Dash was really good.
But you've got to remember, you could at one point you can pretty much run it on everything that can take it. It was the just put it on because why wouldn't you? It's not like a crack shot or a predator where you've got to activate your bullseye arc. Something being obstructed is a lot more common than something being in bullseye, and making something a 4 dice attack rather than a 3 is massively powerful. So
oh yeah. Targeting synchronizer up by 1.
We don't care.
Okay.
Whatever.
Proton torpedoes. From 9 to 12 points.
This makes me happy and sad. I'm happy because I don't get torpedoed as much. I'm sad because I can't just put torpedoes on as much as my own stuff anymore.
Yeah, but it makes you pay 6 points per shot with that. And that really feels more
I'm not saying that this isn't reasonable. I'm saying I'm really happy that when I'm not playing, when I'm playing, people don't shoot torpedoes at me as much anymore. But when I'm playing, I don't get to shoot torpedoes at them.
Logan doesn't like it.
I can imagine not.
If my torpedoes cost 6 points and yours cost 12, I would be really happy. But
yeah. If it just worked out, I just play the old points, you play the new. I'm good.
Yeah.
Turrets as a whole went down by 2. We only have 2 to work with, the ion turret and the dorsal turret, and in hyperspace we only have 1, which is the ion turret.
Yeah. So the funny one is an extended. It's like, the Drea Swarm's really good. It's being pretty obnoxious in extended. So we'll increase Drea's points by 2. Oh, but we're going to decrease dorsal by 2, so it's actually the same. But don't worry about it. You don't rethink it. It's okay.
It's okay. We're good.
Oh, dear.
All right, we're into the rebellion. One of the ones I wish I would have said when we were doing our ones, B-Wings. B-Wings down by 3. In some cases 4. Braylon Strom is down by 3. Tendum down by 4. And then 1 point for the generics
came down by 1. Yeah. It's good. It probably brings them more in line with the X-Wings. Like I was saying, with the X-Wings and the TIE Fighters being the baseline ships. They weren't rocking anyone's world, but you were still seeing them. So them getting cheaper, So you can take a free jamming beam on them as well. Have at it. I don't know. I don't think that they're going to suddenly become, you know, the 4BZ or the Big Walks of Dog stuff isn't going to come back anytime soon. But it probably should.
I really wish they'd dropped the Blue Squadron down to 40 so that you could run 5 B-Wings.
No.
So that would have been awesome.
Blade Squad, like, there is probably a list where Big Walks of Dogs is stupidly amazing because all of the blades have selfless.
Oh yeah.
So Biggs is no like they're all walking each other at that point, and that's probably really good. But people aren't playing selfless, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah. No changes.
Sabine went up. Every version of Sabine went up.
Yeah, she went from 38 points being the third most expensive attack shuttle to the most expensive attack shuttle at 42 points.
So she's not as high initiative, but she's still more expensive because it's cheating. Sabine having supernatural reflexes built in.
Yeah.
Who knew? Pre-dial maneuvering is pretty good. Who knew?
Imagine that. With advanced knowledge, too.
Yeah.
All the A-Wings from the Rebel slots, not only did they go down 2 points. Oh, no, these are the Y-Wings. All Y-Wings from the Rebel slots down by 2 points across.
Y-Wings went down. Gold Squadrons again. Me and Sean were talking about running them with selfless because it's a decent chunk of hit points for a stupidly low amount of points. You've also got the Grey Squadrons where you can now fit. I'm gonna have to double check my math. In fact, I'll just do it in the app.
6,
but you can fit. Oh, you can fit 6 in. But if you want to do double tapping Greys with a dorsal turret and then veteran turret gunner, I'm pretty sure you can get 5 of them.
I think you're correct.
Yeah, 39 points. So, yeah.
5. And that's 40 hit points to go through?
40 hit points that shoot twice. Out the front. Just joust me. Just come at me, bro.
Pretty scary.
Yeah.
Pretty scary.
You could probably, like, do... If you did 4, you'd have 4 extra points. So you could maybe fit something else in there. I don't know, maybe like Biggs again. Biggs walks everything. It's always going to be fun.
Absolutely.
That's what everyone wants to hear, Biggs coming back.
K-Wings down across the board. 3 points for Tetsu. We're going to looking at 3 points for Miranda, 3 points for the Warden.
I'm convinced that even with the increase to barrage, there's definitely a barrage missile K-Wing list out there somewhere waiting to wreck somebody with like having front arcs, side arcs, and then drop bombs at the back and just do what you like.
So this is going to be the first one that I'm going to bring up that makes me mad. Because if the Defender only goes down 2 points, why in the blue hell does Horne in the E-Wing go down 8 points?
Does the term focus evade mean anything to you?
Yeah, but 8 points. Horne goes from 74 to 66 points.
But he can't focus evade.
No, it can't. You're right.
It doesn't have an extra shield. Or hull. I can't remember which way around it is now. It's got one less hit. It's got one less hit point. My ability for Corran is I can target lock you at any range, not range 1. Your ability for your defender is I'll just evade and an action
and a 4K white turn.
Yeah. So, do you want to rephrase your question to? Oh, I understand this. It's maybe all fine, in fact.
Maybe I do.
But yeah, that's not to take away from E-Wings. There's a lot.
No, I think these make them very playable.
Okay, I wasn't gonna do it too early, but I do have. There's a Lando Corran list that I'm definitely gonna have to try because I'm convinced that this can be funny. Where is it? Maybe a real Lando is what I call the list. So Lando's initiative 5, Corran's initiative 5. So Lando with Luke Skywalker Gunner, Nien Num to give me even more blue, and then Leia Organa We've not got there yet, but she's down to 2 points.
Oh my god! Oh, yeah, we were talking about commanders before. Yeah.
113 points for that Lando, and then you've got Corran with Crackshot, Fire Control System, Afterburners, and R2D2. So we can get his target lock turn 1 because it's the E-Wing ability. I want you to be my Bullseye Arc because that's Corran's ability. I've got Crackshot, which triggers off Bullseye Arc. I have Afterburners because I can't necessarily double my actions, so it gives me 2 lots of decent action efficiency. And I've got R2D2 because regen got cheaper, so it's now only 6 points. 81 points
enough,
for
not
that.
Nearly as valuable.
Yeah. So you get a 2 initiative 5 for 6-point bid. I think that's viable as a 2-ship list.
I think so.
I think that can work. Like, Corran's nowhere near the force he was because you do have to bullseye people. But but it doesn't. If you do trigger Corran's ability, you're going to be disarmed anyway. So just R2 the next turn and get a shield back. You've got 3 hull and 3 shields. Went to 6 hit points. It's still 3 agility for a rebel faction with 3 attacks. It's initiative 5. It's got a good dial. It's got good actions. Like,
kind of hard to say no to that.
Yeah.
Hawks. Who knew that Hawks were apparently oppressive in X-Wing? The lowly Hawk before it was a TLT caddy was nothing before, but all of them up at least 2 points. January's went up by 2. Kyle Katarn by 1. How many points for Rourke? 5 points? 5
Initiative 7's good. Who knew?
Yeah, who knew? Who knew? Rebel A-Wings. This is a key point of interest. So not only did they go down in points, looking like 4 points for Jake Farrell, 2 points for Arvin, and of course the Green Squadron itself went drop in 2. But they all got an extra additional talent slot as well.
So the Phoenix
Squadron gained 1.
Yeah, the Initiative 1 Phoenix Squadron pilot, 30 points, can now take Intimidate. Crash into me, I'm not here to block you. Or you can take like Crackshot and it's still got missiles, so you can proton people. It's just it's good.
Yeah, it's gonna be good.
Go crazy and take a Juking Phoenix Squadron and just watch people deal with it because they have to. And it's like, okay, there's your 35 points. Well done. Crack on.
The Sheathipede, for whatever reason, only Zeb and AP5 went up, but I don't think anyone plays Zeb.
Cheap access to coordinate went up across the board.
Imagine that.
Fenro at 52 points is pretty expensive, but it's more the being able to drop a ship in as your last filler ship that has coordinate is what has got more expensive.
Imagine that's why they took the talent slot off of Null.
Yeah.
Yeah, imagine that. Coordinate turns out to be pretty good.
Oh, look, Sabine went up in a TIE fighter. Who knew?
Imagine that. Well, I was going to say X-Wings, again, we talked about, also the same. Sabine went up in the TIE fighter by 2 points. Same reasons as before.
Yeah, large bases now. All came down, apart from Chopper, who went up by 8.
By 8?
I had to double check this because I'm like, there's no... How Chopper's not that good, is he? Yeah, he is. Double jam, take it. Take these jam tokens. I promise it's okay. No, it's wrong. It isn't that expensive. It's only 70 points in the app.
Oh, so the spreadsheets are the spreadsheet. Yeah. So he actually came down by 10, or he went up by 10.
He went down by 2. He's only 70 points, so he is in line with everyone else.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, I don't know why that says that. Checking in the app right now, it says it's 70 points.
Oh, interesting.
So yeah, definitely Chopper is awesome and even better than what I just said because he's got a sensor slot. So just take advanced sensors for 8. So that's why it says it's 80 points because you put advanced sensors on him.
You just automatically assume it and go from there.
Yeah, advanced sensors is stapled to him because he wants to bump. So you reinforce and then slam into someone and give them 2 jam tokens. Don't even apologize though. Don't say sorry. So you earned these jam tokens.
You absolutely did. Okay, again, going with the large base turrets getting dropped. Han Solo from 92 to 82 points. Lando from 92 to 80 points. A 12-point drop.
So,
holy cow.
Lando is so good. Take him, people. I promise you. Lando. What if I told you you could have push the limits for free and you could do it on somebody else if you liked?
Yep. Holy cow.
You know, okay, so I do have another Lando build. I won't keep it in the back pocket for another show. We can spoil it now.
Spoil it now?
Yeah, this is the biggest troll Lando build I can think of at the moment. You'll like this. So you have Millennium Falcon title, which gives you the evade action. And if you're evading, you can re-roll your green dice. Then you have Perceptive Co-Pilot, which is after you focus, you can take an extra focus token. Then you have Jyn Erso, which is when you gain a focus token, you can gain an evade. Then you have Luke Skywalker. So what about if I told you that for cheaper than old Lando with Luke Gunner, you could have a Lando with Luke Gunner that can spend every turn with focus, evade, and re-roll its green dice.
Yep.
Does Lando still have to roll the dice for his ability?
So the Lando's ability is that's the crew ability where he re-rolls, which also got cheaper and is better now in 2.0. Yeah.
Because I was going to say, like, if it's re-roll your green dice, do you get to re-roll your Lando roll?
You don't get to re-roll a re-roll.
No, so Lando crew is roll a green dice. But no, the Millennium Falcon title, okay, I've got to go into edit mode. I forgot the app does this. Because I use the official X-Wing app.
So do I, on my phone.
No, it's while you are defending, you can re-roll. Yeah.
Okay.
While defending, if you are evading, you may re-roll one defense die. So yeah. So it wouldn't work if you had Lando crew on your Falcon. But yeah, so you've got a 122-point Lando that just like is fully like you can either be you can be evading with double focus, you can be double evading with a single focus. Just do what you want. It's easy.
Just do whatever you want. It's X-Wing on easy mode.
Yeah. Yeah. Good fun.
Going along with the same theme, all of the 2400s dropped. Dash only dropped by 2, but Lebo drops by 10. And the Wild Space
But does lose the crew slot for Lebo.
What's that?
Lebo doesn't have a crew slot anymore.
Correct.
So he can't take 3PO.
Yep.
Yeah.
What else? Now we're into some of the R2D2 drop from 8 to 6. Still good.
Yeah.
R5D8 dropped by 2 or dropped by 1.
Yeah, 3PO got cheaper because Weebo can't take him.
Yep, exactly.
Blaze Malbus got a massive decrease of 5 points.
Yeah, look at that.
Because it's a red action for a maximum of 2 extra focus tokens when you could just take the crew I just said about on Lando, Perceptive Co-Pilot, to get 1 extra token without it being red. So yeah. That's why Blaze came down.
Chewbacca down to 4 from 5. Kanan Jarrus down to 12.
Lando crew going down to
2 points.
Especially because he's better in that if you roll a blank, your opponent just picks a focus or evade and you get that.
Mm-hmm.
So it always does something.
Always does something. Leia, let's get into that one because she dropped 6 points down to 2 points.
Yeah,
This is a why not crew member. I'm sorry.
So you've got to be able to fit her into something because it's a crew. So if you're taking something that has a crew, you have to consider Leia with Rebels now because you just mess with your opponent. Like all of your Rebel ships have some form of repositioning. So if you say to your opponent, you know, this turn I can take K-turn and boost. or I can K-turn and barrel roll. All of my ships are defenders this turn. Your opponent then has to plan for it, and then you just do a 1 straight anyway. Like, well, I'm not going to do it. But you have to think that I might do it.
But you have to think it's possible.
Yeah.
It could happen.
So, at 2 points, I think that it's well worth it.
I completely agree. Mancktelow Yara went up by 1. Maul down by 2.
So Maul I'm happy with, but you're really just paying for a force point. It doesn't really do much else. So it gives you access to hate, I suppose, which, whatever.
Yeah, I guess.
Luke Skywalker down.
Han
went up, yeah, but Luke went down by 4. It's still pretty high. I think if we're gonna do it like 20, I think you can have down to 24 when it's still an option. If you get down to 20, 22, it starts to be an auto include.
Yeah,
so
I agree. Moldy Crow up by 6.
Probably still the best upgrade in the game.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's good.
All right, we're into Resistance now. Resistance, the Star Fortress drops, looks like 4 points mostly across the board.
Pretty much.
Pretty
5
much.
points for the base initiative generic.
Yeah, this looks like a just a readjust.
Yeah. So that's about it for Resistance. The one that is pretty exciting, which I miss Bob being here for this one, is you can now run triple IG in a standard game.
Oh, God. Well, wait, there's one other thing real quick on the A-Wings, because the A-Wings basically stayed the same, except they gained the 1 generic.
Yeah, the Blue Squadron got a talent slot, got into that.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So yeah, let's get into that. Triple IGs can be a thing. Now, we're not looking at the old heavy laser cannon triple IGs from the old days, but 3 of these ships on the board is still pretty stupid.
Yeah, and they still all share their abilities.
Yeah, they still swap them around.
Yeah, it's good fun.
You have access to free cannons now. I mean, granted, they're jam cannons, but they're free cannons. So remember the thing I said about Y-Wings, how they all went down? Yeah, except for 2. You scummy Y-Wings went up. Cavill went up by 1, and Drea went up by 2.
So Drea didn't go up because dorsal turret came down. So Drea's the same. Yeah. Because the only reason you take Drea is to have someone in your arc to activate her ability to give the rest of your generics rerolls. So you'd always put the cannon on her, so you've got 2 arcs, and then the cheapest, all of the cannons came down by 2. So Dre's exactly the same. Like,
yeah. It didn't change.
Yeah.
Scum Lando up by 3. Outrider Pioneer, or Outer Rim Pioneer up by
Again,
4.
It's cheap access to coordinate.
Yeah. Exactly what it is. All right, your boy Boba, up by 6.
Yeah.
Not nearly as high as I thought it was going to be, but there are other areas where,
the build got
Gunner,
hit.
for example.
Yeah, Marauder Title and Hand Gunner all went up as well.
Yeah.
So, easy mode Bubba isn't a thing anymore. If you want good stuff with him, you can probably do like a Bubba Fen as a 2-ship list now, but I feel like Bubba's still a healthy place. It's still worth 10 points more than Emon pretty easily. When I was, so look at it this way, when we first started doing the show, I was talking about running Bubba with just Slave 1 and like no other upgrades. That was coming in at 85 points. Bubba and Slave 1 is now 88 points. It only went up by 3.
So not so bad.
Yeah.
It's just all the shenanigans you got with the
If you
Marauder
want to
title.
play fucking bullshit X-Wing of token stacking shenanigans, where I'm going to coordinate, reinforce, then I'm going to do a blue, then I'm going to do like a boost action to get into range 1 whilst I'm reinforced, then I'll handgunner my focus. And you're like, yeah, okay, I probably understand why this costs 1 trillion points now. Because I've got defensive rerolls, a focus token. You can even have like the IG crew on there and pass it calculates and stuff like that. And yeah. So you can do, if you took IG crew and you just coordinate reinforce. You fly straight at someone with a boy move, so you clear your stress. You perform a calculate action. Have your 2 calculate tokens because you've got IG crew. Then in the engagement phase, before you engage, as you engage, you handgunner to have a focus token as well. So you've got double calculate and focus with defensive rerolls and offensive rerolls and a reinforce. Yeah, fuck off. All of this can go up in points. We're done.
Yeah. The G1A Starfighter, 2 went down in points. Forlorn stayed the same. Zuckus down by 2, and the Gansfeiman down by 2 as well.
Forlorn was the only one seeing play, so that's
so it's effectively stayed the same.
Yeah. The one that disappoints me here. So you've got the BM3As all went down. The Lancer all went down, but that's regardless because no one's playing any of those anyway. Even with the new pricing, no one's going to take them. So whatever. Captain Seavor went up from 28 to 30, and he's still too cheap.
He's still too cheap. You totally missed the fact that the Jump Masters all went down.
No, did I skip Jump Masters? Okay, yeah. Dengar at 58 is pretty tempting.
Yes.
Alright.
But beyond that, I mean, we're not living in the triple scout modes anymore. Dengar maybe.
It's only got the crappy turret. It's not a double bow tie, but you leave it pointing to a front, because that you want it at the front for Dengar's ability anyway. And then punishing one's only 8 points, so 66 points is getting you a 3-die primary attack ship that can have a revenge shot.
Yeah.
And it's initiative 6 with 9 health to evade.
Not bad.
It's tempting at that price.
Quad jumpers up across the board. Even the Junker seemed to get the one the Jakku Gunrunners was the worst to get it up by 4.
Yeah, it was. So remembering that activating your Space Tug Tractor Array is better at Initiative 1.
Yes.
So you're guaranteed to know what we're going to be. Yeah. But sorry, I wanted to touch on Seavor.
Sure. Go ahead.
30 points. Is still not the most expensive one. The comparisons I've been trying to do here is if you look at let's have a look at some 30-point TIE fighters for Imperials, and you'll see how bad this comparison is.
Yeah, I was gonna say I think the closest they have a 32. Yeah. You've
got some 30-point Imperial TIE fighters. You've got Wampa, who's my preferred one. So Wampa's ability is if you shoot at me, I'm just a normal TIE fighter again. You've got Gideon Hask. If you're damaged, I get to roll an extra attack die. Del Miko. If you're damaged, my friends can roll more evades. Sina Manara is old Wampa, where you can deal damage under shields. All of those are 30 points. And they're pretty interesting. None of them are as good as Seavor.
No.
If I'm not in your bullseye arc and you shoot me, I can jam you. So that focus token you were going to use to shoot me, gone. That target what you wanted to use, gone. Okay. And then so you chose not to shoot me because you didn't want to get jammed? Okay, well, I'm going to shoot one of your friends, and I've got Duke. So I hope they weren't saving that focus token for defense, because we don't have it, and I'm juking them. So this is levels like Omega Leader in first edition, where it's really oppressive that you never have your focus token whilst they make you not have good dice. So it's
and
not.
They actively make that choice of, well, it's not worth shooting this ship.
Well, but that's it. If you shoot it, they still get the benefit of its ability because it works on defense and offense.
Yep.
Seavor is pretty close to. But it is the stealthiest cheese there is at the moment. I'm convinced that he's going to keep getting bumped up and bumped up. I would take Seavor with Duke at 40 points. So the base chassis could cost 35 points at the minute. And I'd still, he would still be the first thing in my scum list.
Start list there and go build from there.
Yeah.
The Scourge Bomber went down by 4 points almost across the board. Well, 4 points for Captain Nim. Sol went down by
as well,
3.
didn't it? It gained Gunner slot, is it? I think it gained the Gunner slot for Scourge.
It did.
Yeah. I don't know. It's not the same ship it was in 1.0. With the bombs aren't the same. I don't know that it's gonna make a comeback even with it's decent priced, but I think if you're playing Scum, you're not playing Scum to take a Scourge anymore. So
right. Yeah. Guri, the only Star Viper to see a change. Up by 1.
So at 1 point doesn't seem too bad until you start considering advanced sensors went up. Mm-hmm. A lot of the tools she normally uses all went up, so she's got fatter, but I feel like she's still playable.
Yeah, I agree. And the party bus all went down, but they did lose one of the crew slots that kind of accounts for it. Moralo down to 70, Boss down to 66, Latsurazi down to 61, 5-point drop there.
Yeah. I wish Moralo was cheaper. That's all.
I know.
I just want him to be like free.
Well, speaking of free things, Genius is no longer free.
Yeah.
Genius is now 2 points. Yeah, I can live with that.
Han Solo Gunner had a 200% increase from 4 to 12. I think that's is that the biggest points change, I think? Percentage-wise? Yeah,
percentage-wise, I think. I think we skipped over a good one, though, in Jabba, because I know Jabba dropped down to 6 points, and I recognize that he only has one platform that I'm aware of.
It's going to go on a 666, yeah.
It goes into those...
Scum Falcon now.
Oh, that's true. He can do the Falcon. Oh, imagine that. Oh. But it is now those commanders that can kind of fit into other ships and kind of affect the rest of your squads. So I think at 8, probably a little oppressive, but down to 6, maybe. It definitely puts him in that maybe slot for me.
Han, Gunner, and Marauder went up a combined total of 9 points for the combo.
How many points?
9 points for a combination.
Yeah.
Marauder doubled, and Han went up 8 points from 4, so he's up to 12. Yep.
Marauder went up by 3, but the Slave 1 title went down by 4.
Andrasta came down as well.
Yeah, Andrasta came down too as well.
Yeah. Keep playing Fire Sprays, just stop being a douche, is what FFG said. Moldy Crow still up.
Yeah, we already covered it.
And that's it. So that's the end. Done.
That's the end. We got through it all. We covered all the major talking points on that one.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I think this is a fantastic spot for the game. I love the fact that FFG now has the ability to be able to do things like this, where they can see things that are wrong with the meta, and instead of having to wait for a vets pack or an FAQ or something weird like that to come out, they can do these twice-a-year updates and say, this is broken, we're fixing it, we don't see enough of these, let's bring these down, and kind of help balance the game. I think it's eventually, at some point in the game's future, probably 2-3 years from now, we're going to see an area where a lot of these older ships just stay flat. Yeah. Like, no changes, because we've tweaked them enough, we've got them perfect. It's going to be the new stuff that comes in, it's going to be getting adjusted.
Yeah. Any other thoughts?
No, I think as I'm looking at the old watch, it's 4 freckles past a hair, meaning it's past midnight as far as that's concerned. So my thought processes are starting to die down. So I think we've covered everything. I do hope everyone enjoyed that. I'm really looking for it. Like I said, I'm a little salty that I never got to run the null one, but I will find another slot for my quick draw Kylo list.
So I will defeat it.
Just take Blackout instead.
That involves me buying another one.
No, and I don't think you take Blackout instead of Kylo. Blackout quick draw, because if you're not going to necessarily run Supernatural Kylo anymore, take Blackout.
I was planning on running a Supernatural Kylo myself because he's broke as hell. Okay. But anyway, We'll see. We'll get into that one whenever I play my next couple of games and see how it does. Maybe you're right. Maybe Blackout is the answer. All right, so we're going to go ahead and move on to close out the show right after this. All right, so thank you for joining us. We've been waiting to do this one for a while. I can't wait to get out and fly my new plastic spaceships with new points and see how well they do. I do want to thank everyone for joining us. Chad, always a pleasure to talk to you, my friend.
Oh, always great to be here. Thanks to all the fans and everything. Got some show pimping to do, so the lack of focus on Facebook. Hit us up with all your questions and everything. Send us a message. If you want to send us email, you can do that, lackoffocuspodcast@gmail.com. Of course, you know, if you're watching this on YouTube, you know about the YouTube already, but if you're just listening to the audio, check us out. You get to see us and all the interesting visuals that go along with how we do the show on YouTube. Like,
it
share,
is an experience.
comment, subscribe to all that stuff, you know. Audio formats, we're everywhere, so definitely, you know, listen to the shows on whatever your favorite place to find podcasts are. And let's not forget patreon.com/lackofocus. Every little bit helps. We greatly appreciate it. I know Kris does. So
absolutely.
Any of that stuff, you know, it's awesome. And of course, on Facebook, we do our listener questions. So usually a couple hours before the show starts, we'll put a message up saying, hey, give us your listener questions. And
funny, you should mention that. I think we have a couple. As always, I do not cheat. I do not look ahead to see what the questions are.
Yeah. So I'm going to start with Scott. We're going to save that other one I was talking to Kris about for later.
Oh,
we'll
okay.
do that at the end if we choose.
Okay, so since I don't cheat, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Right. So Scott Weasel says, did any changes surprise you? If so, what change surprised you the most?
So the one that surprised me the most would had to have been...
What is the change?
No, that didn't actually surprise me. I was sort of kind of... I think Supernatural one's probably the way that they decided to go with it is probably the one that surprised me the most, just because of the way that they did it and they implemented it. Doing it the multi-tier one, getting it up to 24 points, or 36 points on an Initiative 6 Force user, that's pretty rough. So that one by far, I think that's kind of a cop-out though. So I'm going to go with another one, including that one. I still think that by far Supernatural is probably the biggest one. The other one that really got me, Han Gunner going up as high as it did, that's pretty high. They really wanted to break Boba up as much as they could, and that's really, I think effectively that's really the only reason why they would have done it, was to break that ship up.
Kris?
The one for me, I'll probably say like the slot changes, but to be specific, I'll say removing the crew off Weibo and leaving it on the other ones. So showing that they're willing to address specific pilots was actually really surprising and really good to see that they're looking to look after the meta and game balance, even if it means making no sense from the Outrider is still the Outrider whether Dash or Weibo is piloting it, so it should have the crew swap. But no, it ruins the game. Stop it. So that was pretty surprising for me.
Chad, how about yourself?
Vader coming down.
Yeah.
I kind of thought that, you know, with how popular he was for Empire players, that he probably would have gone up, but bringing the points down a little on him, because like you said, it was like they realized that the mechanic wasn't as powerful and everything as they thought it was. So I understand why they brought it down, but like I wouldn't have guessed that, you know, that was going to happen this early in the game.
Not 5 points, not like the way the 5 points early did he drop it. That, I mean, okay, granted, so Supernatural went super high, so don't take Supernatural on him. There's other force powers you can put on him that basically come out for free now. So yeah, no, I agree with that, absolutely.
Don't take any.
Just don't take any. Yeah. He's really
Zach,
good on his own.
Okay. Zachary Johnson says, what will you be looking to put in your lists after the points changed? Are you tweaking your existing list or starting over?
So I suppose my list was a good example of this. It went down by 8 points originally with Vader, Vader went down by 5, fire control by 1, and afterburners by 2, I think it was. So it gave me 8 points, and I chose to drop H, which gave me 11. So I just reshuffled things around a little bit for that list. But equally, like for something like Squad of Legend, where everything changed. But if you just take Vader crew off because you can't have him anymore, it still all fits. But that's now a completely different list because you don't have the stupidly large bid to guarantee your red line moving last. So that is a list where I'd look at rebuilding it from the ground up. Whereas in the Vader one, the fundamentals of it are still solid, so it doesn't need to change. So it depends why you put the list together in the way you did.
Fair argument. For me, my TIE Fighter Swarm did not change at all. Points-wise are exactly the same across the board, so there's no changes that need to happen. I think I've already lamented is probably too strong of a word because I never actually got to fly it, so I never got to love it. Removing the talent slot from null, I never got the opportunity to see that. So now that means that I either A, need to consider is Supernatural Kylo alone without any other upgrades beyond that worth the 100 points? Or do I need to consider something like Blackout instead? And who's the third ship that goes into that build? I still feel like... Go ahead.
So I was going to say, I'm pretty sure, I'm just going to throw it together now. In fact, I know that it all fits. That you can still run that exact list just without the coordinate on null. And
right.
But that's what he's saying. Do you go, well, it's all still the per se, or do you go, nah, this just isn't the same now?
Yeah, without the talent slot on null, it's not the same. So because it doesn't get to do the things that it used to do, and Kylo lost modification slot, correct?
Yeah.
So while prime thrusters, auto thrusters, all those things.
So you weren't. So as an example, I was running Kylo with prime thrusters, which is a tech, which you can still take. And Supernatural, then Quick Draw with Special Forces Gunner. It was just Quick Draw, Special Forces Gunner, and Fanatical, and then
Fanatical. I was going Fire Control Systems, but yeah, that.
Then you can do null with. You could do it with coordinate and have a decent sized bid. Now you lose the bid, so like. Would you just drop null down to the Initiative 1 pilot and use it as a blocker? Or would you like completely scrap it and go, right, well, I want Supernatural Kylo, but I want him with a bid, so I'm going to take a coordinate in Upsilon and run a 2-ship list now and go all in on it. So like, do you completely redesign your list, or do you just like tweak it so that it kind of still works?
I want to fly it a couple of times without, but that does sound like a viable option, to be perfectly honest with you. Myself personally, I feel like the 2-ship, I think I might end up trying to squeeze 2 Special Forces ties, but then that means I'm probably not running Quick Draw, and Quick Draw really is the hammer in that list. So I think null was a neat little add-on, so I think that, but I still think that there's some FOs that can kind of fit into that slot that won't do what null did, but can serve as a blocker, can serve as a disruptor, and they're just out there. So we'll see. Chad, your list actually got better by far.
My list went down in points. I can actually squeeze a shield upgrade on Vader now if I really want to.
Mm-hmm.
Or I could look into. I actually took the missiles off of Vader for the hyperspace, and I could actually put them back on if I wanted at this point.
Correct. They did go up in points, though.
Yeah, I did change his force power, though. Since I wasn't running a missile on him for the hyperspace, I changed it to the one that says spend the force and shoot at Initiative 7.
Heightened perception.
Heightened perceptions, yeah.
So, I mean, I could do that. But yeah, I'm probably going to lean more toward doing the shield upgrade on him just to give him that extra health.
Yeah, see how it goes.
Yeah. We got Matthew Budney says, thoughts on why First Order was so underrepresented at Phoenix Open, and given the new price changes, thought on making the faction more viable.
I think the factions definitely become more viable because of the price changes, but generally I feel like it just comes down to a number of options in Extended. There's a lot more scope to find abusive combos in the other factions. Whether the reining in of the popular overpowered stuff will be enough. And you've got to remember that they might have not been on the top tables at the end, but triple Upsilon was heavily prevalent in the hyperspace meta on the second day. For the hyperspace tournament they ran, there was a lot of triple Upsilons. So I feel like since that didn't actually get touched at all, they will creep in and be a boogeyman squad. So I feel like you've got the fact they were relatively new. People already knew what the big powerful squads were going into Phoenix, and why take something you've had less practice with when you can just get one more last hurrah at your tried and tested list, more than anything to do with the faction itself.
Yeah, for me, I happen to agree with that. I echo almost that complete statement. I think the fact that it was an extended event definitely hurt the First Order's potential performance in that event, because there's so many other options out there that they just simply don't have access to. I think when we start seeing more hyperspace events, where it's only those couple of ships and only a handful of ships, I think they're going to perform much, much better because they have a much more limited pool. And I think that there's still a good faction. I think there's a lot of good things in there. It's just when you get it into Extended, there's just so many other broken mechanics out there at the time that were just better options.
Yeah, I'd have to say, as for price changes, making faction more viable, that's exactly what the price or the points changes are meant to do, is make things more viable. So you'll see eventually, things will, work into a favor where if you're not seeing a lot of it now, you'll see a lot of it in the future.
Yeah. I definitely think the silencer decrease will help them as well.
Yeah, I agree completely.
Lastly, Zach Matthews had a question about Ace Combat 7, which it's got some big, complicated graphic, some big, complicated picture here. I don't play the game. I don't know what he's talking about. You want to see what he's talking about and comment on it, it's on our Facebook questions. So
You're doing it wrong, Zach. Don't play any of the American wines. The F-22 is terrible. It's badly designed. The VTOL mode on it makes it unwieldy and unable to dogfight. The Americans should have stuck with F-22s and F-16s, Harriers, and F-15 Strike Eagles. You're doing it wrong, mate.
I've never played the game. I have no comment.
I've got no comment either. Those are our Facebook questions, so...
Yeah.
So you might
thanks
as well
everybody.
ask me what the new Battlestar Galactica game was like. I've seen that actually interests me. That actually looks kind of cool, to be honest with you, because like they have a drift mechanic in the game, which I think is neat. It's something that X-Wing doesn't have, but it takes momentum into account. So if you're like when your ship starts moving, it continues its drift in whatever direction it was going before it moves, because it takes real
momentum,
quote unquote momentum into the game, which I think is kind of an interesting twist. I think I might pick up the starter just for fun.
I've heard that it's a really, really fun game, but it is by no way balanced at all.
And by no way competitive at all.
Yeah,
no, I've heard the same.
Yeah.
Well, as he said, he was going to pick it up for fun because, as you know, Ed doesn't play games anymore unless it's Magic on the computer. So
they wouldn't want to play with real people. Then they'd know the truth.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's it. The YouTube channel is doing quite well. Thank you for asking, Chad. I'm happy. 123 subscribers as of this morning. I'm well on my way to getting my goals for this year for 2019, and I'm having a ton of fun playing Magic.
I got sick of listening to you whine about it.
Oh.
I subscribed.
Thank you.
There.
Appreciate that.
I subscribed. I think I subscribed, DiceHate subscribed, and the Sentry Box subscribed. So, we're trying.
And Sean's he's my only Patreon too, so I owe him some games on recording. I did promise him that. I haven't yet to do that yet.
So yeah,
he's gonna stop me.
So all pity ones.
Yeah. So speaking of Patreons, we decided to give away some of the orange stress tokens.
I will pull off the die.
Do you have a D8
Sure do, right in front of me.
Yeah, if you go for, I don't need random number generator, then you can.
Dice are collecting dust because he doesn't play D&D anymore either.
Yeah. Okay.
Here comes a 1.
I'm ready when you
Ready?
are. Yeah.
Number 2.
I was close.
Michael Do is gonna get some
congratulations,
orange
man.
stress tokens. Speaking of stuff for our Patreons as well, I posted it earlier on our Patreon page, but the lack of target lock tokens that we discussed, I posted the picture of the proof of those that we've confirmed to go into printing. So all that is left is for me to find $300 to pay for them, and then they should get shipped out to the next batch of Patreon goodies.
Can't wait. Those look so sharp.
Yeah, I'll put a post up on when I post this episode. I'll make sure we put a post up with them. So if you find them on our Facebook page or go to our Patreon and enjoy some extra content there.
So at our hyperspace trials that we had at the local game store, I was passing out to my opponents the focus ones.
Yeah.
How did Logan not have one? I passed one to him.
He has one somewhere.
He said he didn't have one. The last time when I played him, I gave him one.
He's trying to get more.
Somebody might have stolen one off him. I know when I played somebody took 2 of mine home with him.
Who?
You.
Did I?
I looked at my box and I'm like, why do I only have 1 instead of 3 here? And I'm like, I played Ed last. I'm like, I wonder if he picked them up thinking they were his.
Oh, maybe. All right, well, then I owe them to you. I'll give them back to you.
Yeah, I actually pass mine out to people I play in tournaments.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
You know, those things you don't show up for.
I'm trying. It's not my fault.
There'll probably be another print run of those later on in the year, but I'll do them in a different colour, so they're not exactly the same.
The first edition green ones are going to be the hard ones to find.
Yeah.
Like the dark green focus tokens. So
I was chatting with Galaxy Gaming Gear to see, because he's giving us a discount on them already, but it's $300 is still pretty steep for it. So I'm going to try and wangle, maybe we'll do a commercial for him or something and drop it in to one of our ad breaks.
Chad, that's your cue, man.
But we'll see.
I can do that.
Yeah, it's just trying to convince him that we're worth it. So, you guys should all hassle Galaxy Gaming Gear and say you heard about them on Lack of Focus, and we'll carry on giving you awesome swag.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Ask him what kind of a commercial he wants, I do a good Macho Man.
Oh, yeah. Cryonics.
Oh, dear. Okay, that's me done. Thanks to all of our Patreons. I do really appreciate the extra help, like I say. Paying for the extra tokens kind of null and voids the first batch of Patreons. But joking aside, obviously the Patreon money from this episode is going to go to charity that Ed chose for winning the over-under price guessing. That's something.
The Juvenile Diabetes Research Fund.
Yeah, JDRF for short.
JDRF for short.
That is something we'll continue doing twice a year, it looks like, and then if we find something else fun, we can bet on. And like I said, it's not here to make money for us. We try and make sure we're putting it back into the community. And thanks for helping cover all of the running costs of the show.
We can bet on how many tournaments Ed goes to. I'm taking 0 right now.
Whoa.
Can I take the under?
I think you're going to be sorely mistaken on that one. All right, so I think that's going to do it for this one. Do appreciate you guys tuning into the show. Of course, next week, I don't know what we're going to get into next week. Hopefully, Sean's going to be there. Maybe I'll have some games played. We'll kind of have some time to actually play with some of these new points, and it's going to be kind of a new world, a whole new world. It's 2.1, I guess, as Kris pointed out. So, looking forward to it. So, all right, until next time, guys, as always, fly casual. Thank you once again for joining the Lack of Focus X-Wing podcast. Check out DiceHate Productions for all the latest episodes, and we'll be looking forward to seeing you again next episode.